Alrighty, we should be live. Giveaway at 7 p.m. EST, so that's going to be about a half hour. We're going to do the disc giveaway, but before then, we're just going to hang out for a while. All right. Let's see. Doc is already in the chat along with Justin. Dujit was here a while back. And Doc says, Brad, if I sent you a Yakun shoe, would you try it? Papa John says, I paused Oblivion for this. Yes, all right. The disc giveaway will be at 7 p.m., so 30 minutes. So just FYI, I mean, obviously it'd be great for everyone to hang out in the live stream, but if you're specifically here for the disc giveaway, it will be in about 30 minutes. So 7 p.m. EST. Just FYI. Pausing Oblivion for this is very much appreciated. I understand. It's tough. It's tough. Let's see. So Doc says, if I sent you a Yakun shoe, would you try it? The answer is yes, I would try it. I would throw it multiple times. And then would I, if you gave me a few of them, would I give some away? Yes, I would. Doc's trying to give them away in memory of a lost disc. That is a bummer. That is always a bummer. Luke, what's up, man? Appreciate you being here as well. Got the whole club. Papa John says, worth it. All right. I mean, I get it. Oblivion's pretty fun. Although I have to say, playing on, let's see, so the normal difficulty is Adept, and I jumped up to Expert. Man, it is a huge difference. And I thought that it might just be me, but I looked it up, and it is an unbelievable difference. It's like 3.5 times, basically 3.5 times harder to kill enemies. It just takes forever. And the more you level up, the more that it hurts you, because you can't outpace the level scaling of your enemies. You can only keep up with it, and that's only if you invest your points exactly right. So I've been enjoying it a lot, but I have been thinking about dropping from Expert back to Adept, at least, within a couple more levels, when it gets to just be ridiculous. I mean, I've already had like 4.5-minute fights with one enemy, and they're not even like a boss. It's just an enemy that has a ton of health and a ton of damage reduction. But anyway, appreciate you dropping Oblivion to hang out on the stream. Doc says, only want you to give them away if you think the disc is decent. Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, if you sent me a disc, I would truly give it a real try it out. I can't remember the Yakun disc that my buddy had. He had a putter or a putter approach. Really liked it. But of course, like I've said on the channel, I threw the Zhao. Terrible disc. Would never, I mean, literally we happened to get it as a tournament disc. And there was a guy playing, and his girlfriend had never played disc golf before. Was playing the first round of her life. And she would throw this thing and it would cut roll. And I'm like, this disc is terrible. So it just depends on how it flies. If it flies well, then I'm happy to stand by it and say, hey, this is a good giveaway disc. Do I look weird? Is the camera strange? I don't know. This is weird. Is everything normal? That's probably odd. Oh, well. Papa John says, I play one below normal difficulty. Taking it easy, just having a good time. That's how it's done. I mean, it just depends on what you're looking for. When I was doing the stream, I was like, well, I've got to make things entertaining. I got to play in a higher difficulty. And the good news was I started dying all the time, which was entertaining. So I was like, this is great. But last time I streamed, I was like, it's just taking me forever to kill anything. I'm not dying. I'm just struggling in this fight because the fight's a 4-minute fight. So I have I don't look down on anybody playing. I normally play on the normal difficulty, whatever the game just picks for you, unless, it's a genre of game that I've played a ton of, and I'm fine with upping the difficulty. And it, like I said, it's kind of fun to up the difficulty, but I don't blame you for keeping it the same, dropping it down a little bit, just casually enjoying the game. I mean, the game isn't there to be difficult. The game's there to be fun. And if you're playing for fun, then have fun. All right, let's see. Justin says, can't read. Luke, what? Oh, Justin voted ace. Luke would say eagle because he says acing is easy. Well, it depends on the course that you play, but Luke has been dropping aces left and right. Doc says, yeah, ace could be like a straight 100-foot shot. Eagle is usually on long holes. Yes, it depends, but yes. Do I have a P.O. box? I do not have a P.O. box, Doc, but I will be happy to give you an address to send the disc to in a private message. So if you can reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook, something like that would be perfect. If not, then I can get you an email to reach out to as well. Which is just birdietime@gmail.com. So if that helps, but anyway, you'll be able to get in contact, and then the address will be shared privately. But P.O. Box would be convenient. Will be from Discount Disc Safe. That's how it's done. Mindy's dropping in, so Zach is watching. Thanks for hopping on and joining us. Let's see. Ooh, Dujit. Guess who got their first ace yesterday? Let me see. First ace yesterday. Who's first ace? Let's see. Who would I guess? Doc? Is it your first ace? Did you get your first ace yesterday? So proud of you. Congrats, Dujit. I do look stretched out and it's low quality. Why? That doesn't make any sense. All right, let me look at the... Just going to step around the camera. Something's off. I'm afraid to touch anything. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. Well, this isn't doing anything, unfortunately. Alan says hi. Hi, I'm behind the camera. So you can't see anything. Man, why is it doing this? It should just start it vertical. Oh well. Well, unfortunately, I don't think that there's anything I can do. Maybe it's just low. Let me try this. Apologies for anyone getting seasick from the camera moving. Let's see if that's about right. Maybe it was just height. I don't know. It looks weird to me too. Well, I guess all of you can only come to the conclusion that I am not perfect, and I have no idea what I did wrong, but I did something wrong. I hope it's not annoying to deal with it, but I do look weird. I don't understand that. Is the ratio funny? I don't know. It's messing with me a little bit. Dujit hit a 250-foot straight shot with the hex ace. All right. Ace is an ace. That is correct. A groove instead of a shoe. Oh, gosh. Well, I haven't thrown a groove, so I'm willing to give it a try. Yeah. Yeah, I'm willing to give it a try. But I do have a groove, so I can throw one. Just found it and trying to track down the owner of it. Haven't had success yet. But if they're local in the Charlotte area, should be able to get it back to them. But I can give it a couple of throws and see how it flies, just to see. Alan said hi. Thanks for hopping in, Alan. Appreciate you being here. Papa John says it's fine for him. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I did. Oh well, I'm imperfect. Hollering says favorite wrestler of all time and why. Wrestler, I have very little opinion on wrestling in any way. So I don't know. I'll give a couple basic answers of like John Cena and The Rock because they just transcended wrestling and got into the big screen. I don't know, pretty lame. Actually, I'll say Andre the Giant. I'll say the Andre the Giant favorite wrestler. Doc says, "Hey Eric." Oh wow, interesting. Relationship advice early on. X-Man says, "Should you keep an ex in your life as a friend, even though she's never appreciated me?" Often, I would say having an ex in your life is difficult to balance that relationship, and so I don't think it's an obligation. GK says, "Soup." Yes, always soup. Always soup. Good question. Linda says, "Hi." Papa John says, "Change your difficulty." If you're talking about my Talk about my filming screen. I wish I could. I don't know why it's off, and I hate to like stop and restart the stream. Mike says, "Is that the lost telemetry data of the moon landing behind you?" These are disc golf discs, but I don't know. I haven't seen anyone who can throw to the moon. It's pretty far. Although I do have a Luna, for what it's worth. But yes, those are disc golf discs. Hey, G Key, dropping the 5. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. And says rah for the comment. Alpha Wolf says, "Are you alpha male?" No. I'm just a person, just a normal human being who's nice to people. Cheeky says, "Man, is cooking 30 plus viewers get the hype?" All right, he's throwing it down. I really appreciate it. Linda says hi. LITM subbed. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Ether says hello. Thanks for hopping on and joining us. Judas says W. Mike says, "Thought those were film canisters." Oh, I see what you're getting at with that. Yep, not film canisters, but honestly, I don't blame you because I think I messed up my video ratio, but whatever, no problem. More relationship advice. Justin, I'm not sure if I can help you, but I can say that if you're arguing, you want to understand each other. You don't just want to fight. That should be the goal. Understand each other. Doc says, "I'm stupid, Brad. Can I just give you a $10 super chat? And can you order a shoe?" Probably. That's fine. But that's okay. We don't have to figure that out right now. But if you do throw it out a super chat, then I will order a shoe. So I'll say yes. Oh no, Mike, that's just brutal. Athletics says, "Name an NBA player for an edit." Shaq. Night Owl says, "New here. What's your channel all about?" So this is a disc golf channel. So today, actually, I'll be running a disc giveaway for people who have been entered into it. And this is a Raider. And this disc flies on a certain flight path, depending on how you throw it. But I have other discs that will fly differently. This Brave or an Echo. Since these are right behind me, I always use that one. I'm going to use this one. Or like a Valkyrie. These are all going to fly a little bit differently. They're designed to have a different flight path. And disc golf plays similar to the rules of golf, where you want to throw your disc toward the baskets and try to get there in as few shots as possible. So that's disc golf. It's a sport that most of the audience enjoys, but we also get people in here who are just here to hang out. Brandon says hello. Thanks for hopping on. Tegan says hi. There's 3 Justins now. Yes, we're running out of ability to handle all the Justins in the chat. Jiki says, "I'll match any dono that comes in the next minute." Oh my gosh. Well, that was probably like a minute and a half ago, so I already missed that, but Jiki's a legend in the comments. Hockey says LeBron James for the basketball player. Tegan says, my dad does really want one. He just says, "Quick, someone dono 100 and then refund it." Oh gosh. Hey, Doc, thank you so much for throwing out 15. Rogue Discs seems to be cheapest with shipping. Dynamic Disc is oddly high shipping. Interesting. That's really strange. But thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it, Doc. I will get a shoe with that and get it all tested out, see if it flies well, and I'll let you know if it's a great disc. Then I'm happy to also run a giveaway for it. And boom, GQ says, "Shoot, man, I'll count it." I think it was just outside the time window, but I goofed by not reading comments fast enough. But really appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. Tegan says, "You're the best YouTuber ever." That is very kind. Thank you. I know that's not true, but I really appreciate the encouragement. Thanks a lot. David says hi. Thanks for hopping on, David, and joining us. Steve for Minecraft. Oh, man. Thanks, Fact Fusion. Appreciate that, the call out for that. I guess I can't wear blue shirts anymore. Just gotta dress in black and gray. Brent says hi. I'm asleep. Asleep Brent is here. Night Owl says, popular as Seinfeld was, kind of a shame Froth didn't catch on. It caught on in California and at colleges. So Froth was a thing, but having disc golf as an organized sport kind of transcended the term of frisbee golf, or froth as they call it. But it did work for a while. Did work for a while. Dude, you're gonna sign up for the glitch tournament tonight after the stream. Heck yeah. Good luck in that glitch tournament, dude. You're gonna kill it. Brent says almost saw Brad ace yesterday. All right, spoilers. Brent and I did some filming coming up in the next few weeks. Filming went great, and I almost had a first shot ace. I hit the cage from 320 feet. So I'll just throw that out there. It was a great video. Had a blast. Parachute's been feeling good for Dugit. Heck yeah. Robin Hood, tell beginners about different plastics and how discs get beat in. So that's a great point. So base plastic is going to be like some of the putters that I have. It's going to be unable to hold up in the long term. So even getting hit a few times, you're going to have some bits and pieces, chunks that your disc is going to have to deal with. But a more premium plastic, where it has some wear and tear, it's really going to withstand hitting trees a lot better. Actually, I wonder if I have a better example. This is good. So this pixel has hit a few trees, and you can see it's lumpy, and like there's bumps in the plastic. Just because it's a cheaper plastic, it's just not going to handle it very well. And let me see if I have a premium disc that I've thrown a bunch of times. Not premium. I'll go this way. So this was my driver for like a year. And this is just a different plastic. And it's like identical to how it's shaped, basically. It will fly a little bit flippier because as you hit plastic, it does begin to lose its stability. So when you throw backhand, right hand, backhand, it'll kind of drift more to the right. That will happen over time, but certain plastics hold their flight path over the long term better. Just kind of depends. Steva says, disc much? Yes. Dock the go. That's absolutely right. Gotta get the shoe now. I will get the shoe. Doodle said hi. Let's see. Brent says that I let him down and it kicked out of the chains. Oh, Brent's talking about another ace. I had two almost aces. Spoiling everything. But yes, that one was another shot. They're on video, so they're coming. Dude says those need to come later at night so we can keep him on. That's true. That's true. You donate when I'm saying about to get off in 5 minutes. That's when you start throwing down the donations. That's big brain. Doc says take your time ordering. Trying the shoe be around June, July when the budget comes back around. Okay. No problem. SM says, what's up? Thanks for hopping on. Are Fact Frenzy and Fact Fusion the same person? I don't believe so, but I don't actually know. That's just me thinking. It's a great question. Are the facts impersonating each other? Because then they would be false. All right, let's see. GK says, if we run it tomorrow, I'm out of North Carolina for a bit after Thursday. I think tomorrow we are good. Yes, tomorrow we are good. Brent says, not that one, the chain out. Yes. Yes, the chain out. Yep. I forgot that I had multiple almost aces, but the chain out was not first shot. So it wasn't as cool, although it will look great on camera. Dude, just his friend let me borrow his Climo Champ Eagle, and it flips up so nicely. Of course, you flip up an Eagle. That sounds about right. Climo Champ Eagle. Ooh, man. Doc says, Brent, when he gets the Yakun shoe, can you make like a 500-foot ace for me with it? Thank you. Good night. Brent says, don't hit aces. Unfortunately, just not something I do, except for the time Brent walked up to the tee pad and aced in my face to beat me in a 1v1 8-hole lunch break half round that we played. Of course, he did play out of order, so that does matter. It was also off camera. Deacon says, is there a way you can get me one signed? So what do you mean by that? Are you asking for a disc that I find, like I run into that? But I would be willing to do that. I'd be willing to send a disc out with a signature. I will be able to get some signatures at USDGC in the fall if you're talking about pro signatures. Of course, if you're talking about mine, I'll be able to sign No guarantees the signature looks good. No guarantees. Thomas just got off work, got a shower, so I can relax. Heck yeah, that's how it's done. What the heck says overhand or underhand? So I throw backhand. So I come across the chest, throwing flat, backhand, right hand. I don't really throw forehands or overhands. Underhand's not really a thing so much. Maybe putting. I do have kind of a straddle putt. But yeah, it's really backhand. Sometimes there's nothing better than a nice shower. Sometimes relaxing and really nice. Justin 2 is here. Justin 2.0, hopping on the chat. Cadence says, what was your first car? My first car was a Pontiac Bonneville. And I named it Beelzebub because the radio would turn itself on in the middle of the night while I was driving. It was extremely creepy, and it would start to stall out on the highway and different things. So, yeah, I named it Beelzebub because it seemed like the car was possessed. Did not enjoy that car, but it did get me through college. Officially 4 more days of school to apologize if the video quality is imperfect. But again, that does sound like me. GK says course preference. I'd be up for Reedy now that the rain is gone and it shouldn't be muddy anymore. It should be dried out. I'd be up for that. Thomas says did it when it first came into the stream. Well done. Justin 2.0 says Brent I got a 567-foot eagle in tournament yesterday through the drive 495. Okay, that's insane. That's unbelievable. 495 feet uphill both ways. No, that's a massive drive. That's huge. Congrats on that eagle. That's really, really cool. Mindy/Zach says 10 minutes. VRS says do a backflip. I've done like 3 backflips on the trampoline in my life and a couple of assisted flips. But back then, I was youthful, I was adventurous, and now I don't trust myself. No backflips from Brad. I can do a front flip on the trampoline, but that's about it. Dude just says disc golf almost every day. Knees just a little bit sore from lifting, so not every day. That's fair. Tegan says, okay, yes, yeah, just send me a direct message so we can get the details worked out. But yeah, and I can't 100% guarantee any specific pro's signature. Just FYI, throwing that out there. Yeah, Justin with a massive drive. That's huge. Jacob says hi. Victoria says, what's up, man? Appreciate you being here. Doc says, way to go. Let's see. Dude just says almost 40 viewers. Yeah, I don't know, but we're getting out there. It's great. Tegan says, gonna be for my dad. Okay, that's awesome. Erwin says, Norris Chuck, LOL. How's it going, Brad? It's going great. Thanks for hopping on and joining us, man. Appreciate you being here. Victoria says, hey. GK says, going to be lurking around this time, but back to editing. Keep the hype going. Heck yeah. GK is always editing, always pumping out that next Valorant video. And by the way, if you guys haven't checked out that channel, if you're at all interested in Valorant, GK has a corner on the market. He's got it going. So check that out. His streams are also epic, but he is busy playing Valorant. So he doesn't always read every comment that I leave, which makes me sad. I read every comment. Sometimes it's just 10 minutes late. Kevin says, hey, Kevin Melendez, thanks for hopping on, dude. Man, I wish I had just barely missed you at Dry Creek. Wish I'd been able to say. Dude just says kind of creepy. Down for Reedy. Okay, good. All right, so are you guys still experiencing the lag? I see some lag comments. Apologize for any issues, but I also claim no responsibility. I can't fix Wi-Fi magically, but I'm really sorry if you're experiencing some of that. Really unfortunate. Jared says, hey man, love watching the live streams. Awesome. I appreciate you being here. I love all of you guys joining the live streams. They're a lot of fun. And especially tonight with a disc giveaway in about 5 minutes, I'll be giving away the Raider to everyone who was entered into it. So hopefully you saw that video and were able to get entered into the giveaway. I am running giveaways fairly often, at least I think about monthly. So keep your eyes peeled if you didn't get into this giveaway. I get a couple of stream lagging comments. That's really unfortunate. The giveaway curse. Oh gosh. Justin 2.0 says, "Hey Justin 1.0." It does seem to happen on giveaway days. Yep. Yep. Doc says, "I'm hoping not this giveaway, but if I win a disc, need it signed by Brent." Yep. I will try to see if I can commission Brent to sign a disc for you, Doc, if you win one. Maestro says, "Are those frisbees?" So yes, these are disc golf discs. As Doc said, heavier, smaller and heavier than frisbees. So we've got like an ultimate frisbee disc versus this Calvin Heimberg Destroyer. You can see they're intentionally shaped differently, and discs fly further and faster than frisbees do, which both makes them more effective and more dangerous. You just have to be careful not to hit people because it'll really hurt. People have had to get stitches. Tegan says, "Broke my leg doing a front flip." Oh gosh. Josh says, "Are you a doctor?" No, I'm not. Maybe Doc is. Dude says, "On the same note as Doc, if I win, I want it signed by either Brent or Brad, or both." Todd says, "Actually curious about the eggs thing." Which eggs thing? Did I skip something? The eggs thing? What did I miss? Kevin says, "Saw you hopping in the car, but didn't want to run over and scare you." You are welcome to run over and say hi. So in the future, you're welcome to jog in front of the car, dive out of the way as I peel out of the parking lot, whatever it takes, just say hi. It's worth it. But I appreciate the consideration at the same time. Dude says, "Prefer Brent, but settle for Brad." All right, thanks. Justin 2.0 says, "Not gonna lie, probably threw it further than 495 because I had a 45-foot uphill putt." Ugh. I'd say three eggs. Okay, what did I miss the eggs? What did I miss about the eggs? I don't understand. Been on the Brent side since day 3? Of course. Justin 2.0 says, "Are you signing the Raider?" I can and I will if somebody wants me to, but I'm not going to just sign it in case somebody wants it not signed. So signing is a full option, but it's not going to be signed against the will of the winner. Yeah. Brody said hi. Tegan says subscribed and liked. Really appreciate that, man. Kevin says, "Do you play disc golf with viewers in the area? Would love to play around one day." I would say in general, yes. I don't have like a specific way of doing it, but I can I don't have like a schedule or anything. But I'm happy if you're able to kind of throw down some comments and be like, "Hey, I was thinking about playing around Saturday," or something like that. Then I can try to make that happen. What's easiest is if you find out like what tournaments I'm playing and like sign up to be on my card. That's the easiest. That's the guarantee. And then you can just comment and be like, "Hey, like I jumped on your card on Saturday." I'd be like, "Perfect." And prime example, I'm playing Bradford on Saturday. And I just signed up for the 12:20 p.m. slot with Brent. And so if you really want to get in a tournament round, that would be the time. But I will say Brent and I will be hopefully playing, well, being very competitive because we're trying to win. So it'll be fun and everything, but we're gonna be focused up. Doc said, "Anyone in chat tried Atmos Plastic by DGA?" I have not. Mello says, "Hey man, appreciate you being on." Unforeseen says, "Don't know what's going on, but I'm a fan." Fair enough. Actually, it's already 7, so I will jump in soon. About to run a disc giveaway for everyone who's been entered into the giveaway. The giveaway entry window is closed, unfortunately, but I will be running that soon. Let's see. Mello says, "Yo, bro." Fishing says, "What PC you have?" I have a old laptop, Lenovo. It's not great. It's good though. It works. But I do not have like a good PC. Doc says, 3 eggs, the cost of a disc golf basket. Oh gosh, a deleted message saying how many eggs you could fit in your mouth at once. Yeah, I didn't even see it. But 3 is probably generous. I think 2. That's why being a mod is more fun. All right. It's your girl Mars says, "Hi, remember me?" Yes, it's been a few weeks, but welcome back. Appreciate you being back on the channel. Cooked eggs 0. 3 shelled eggs. Justin 2.0 rating jumped to 942 and shooting around 950 to 980 rated rounds. That's how it is done. That's how it's done. SM says, if you're ever in Illinois, down for a round. Heck yeah, that'd be fun. I will be up in Michigan, but I won't really probably be over in Illinois. But I do have a buddy that lives over there, so maybe one day. All right, guys. Ethan says, shout me out on your live stream. So shout out, Ethan. Let's see. That's awesome. Try to remember that. Okay, I'm gonna run the giveaway. It is 7:01, and I actually caught up on all the comments except for Nadine, who said, "Hi, I'm new. Thanks for hopping on and joining us." So the way that I run the giveaway is a little bit slightly unconventional. I run the random wheel on my laptop, and I'm just gonna hold it, hit the button. There's no way to fake it. It is Wheel of Names, random name picker, wheelofnames.com. So if you go onto that site, you can see for yourself. There's no way to rig it or like do anything like that. You can tell that it's not like a recorded video or anything like that. So this is going to be a complete unknown for me. Whoever the winner is going to be for this, it will be random, despite the fact that Brent won the Shrike last time. That was very incidental. Justin says it's lagging. Okay, I hope it's not lagging for everyone, but I will take my time on the giveaway to make sure that it doesn't lag through it and cause any issue. Okay, guys, so we have 36 entries into the giveaway. Let me see, maybe I'll brighten it up. So hopefully you can pretty much see that. 36 entries into the giveaway. And let me put this in alphabetical order. So let's see. Hopefully you can, actually, I'm sure you probably can't read the screen very well, but I'll kind of move it around a little bit. And so we have ourselves a bunch of you guys are entered here. So hopefully you're able to see your name. Hopefully your name is there. If for some reason your name is not here, but you did leave a comment, let me know and I'll cross-reference the video and find that comment and make sure that, if I don't have your name here, that's on me and I'll make it right. Okay, so we are going to spin this here. And as mentioned, this is for this Raider, this Dynamic Discs Raider, which is an overstable distance driver by the numbers, although I have thrown a Raider that flies a little more flippy. Shout out Jim for donating this. Jim won a disc, but not only did he not want to kind of take that one disc away from someone else who guessed the number of discs I had, he also wanted to give another disc for this giveaway. So he actually sent me 2 discs, one to be sent to the other guy who guessed correctly, and this one to be donated. So what a legend. But here we have the wheel. We have 36 entries. And we're just going to spin it. Hopefully you can see that basically. We're going to see who wins. And do we have a winner? Oh, there it is. And oh my gosh, we have Mindy Owens. So I believe that would be Zach that won the disc. That is awesome. That is great. So once again, that YouTube name is right there. That's really, really cool. That's really cool. All right, let me see. Did any horrible malfunctions happen while I was away from monitoring my own stream? Okay, it looks like everything was fine. Didn't Brent call himself winning last time? Yes, he did. Doc says, if Brent doesn't win, I hope Duja does. Brent absolutely called himself, what did he say? He said something like 1 in 78. I like those odds, and then won the Shrike. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Remix says, are those frisbees? Yes, these are disc golf discs, technically different from frisbees, but this is in essence a specific disc designed to fly with a certain flight path versus like an ultimate frisbee disc, which is just going to be chunkier and slower. Disc golf discs are designed to fly further and faster. So once again, shout out and congrats to Mindy Owens / Zach for winning the Raider. That is really awesome. And I'll either send that to you or potentially be able to hand deliver that. That is possible. Todd says, how did people enter this giveaway? Great question. I posted a video on my channel on Monday last week, or maybe Tuesday, that was a disc giveaway video, and all you had to do was leave a comment on that video. So that was the way to be entered into the giveaway, and I mentioned it on stream last week, and then I posted the video. So that's the kind of way is you had to see that video within 5-6 days and get yourself commented and entered into it. So great question. Not every giveaway, not everybody notices every single giveaway, and maybe I should have also left a post, but I figured just posting that video was going to be a pretty good way to do it. So good question. So next time you got to get yourself entered into that giveaway. Steven says, every time I think of Cool Hand Luke, I think of Guns N' Roses. Yeah, dude just says video comments. Yep. All right, so Justin 2.0 says, don't know if mine is there. So I will double check that. Can you tell me if mine is? So let's see. Yes, you are there. Yep. Confirmed. Todd says, not sure if I entered either. Todd, I don't remember you commenting on the video, but I'll double check. If you did, I'll make things right. Unforeseen says, at Justin, what's the difference between a disc and a frisbee? Let's see. Did Justin answer that question? Well, I basically just said it a minute ago. Dude just said 2 in 36 chance. All right. Dude or Doc. They don't glide as much as a frisbee, but they go further. Some of them do glide as much as a frisbee. Some of them, I would say some glide more. Kristen says hi. Badly Gamer says hi. Thanks for hopping on and joining the stream. Appreciate you guys. Doc says, watch this video and 7 days later you might win a disc. Bad horror movie premise. All right. Mindy says, can you sit? I don't know what that means. Dude just says, much less entries than last time, but also only 1 disc. Yes, and last time I did both a video and a YouTube short. So I had 2 ways to enter the giveaway, and the YouTube short had people commenting who I would say normally don't watch the channel at all, which was great. But this time I ran it just as a video, and I kind of targeted the subscribers and people who were a little bit more involved in the channel. So that lower number for the giveaway entry was partly intentional. Papa John missed the giveaway entry. It's unfortunate, but I will be doing more. So keep your eyes peeled. And heck, if you check my channel every Friday for a giveaway video, you can't miss it. Giveaways will always end on Saturday night for the future, and I'll always try to run them during the live streams the next day. All right, Justin 2.0 is out. See you later. Appreciate you being here, man. Doc says, how would you test if a disc glides further than a disc? That's a good question. Excuse me. Todd says, the only disc giveaway I did was hidden at the very end of a video, gave an instruction to leave a certain comment, and someone actually left it. Reward for watching the whole video. Yeah, that's a cool way to do it. I probably watched that video until like 2 minutes from the end and then quit, because I'm that type of person. I'm just kidding. I have no idea, of course, what video that was, but I did just watch your, Todd, I did just watch your field work with the X step. I watched that whole video. Dude just says, except I didn't watch the last like 20 seconds. I watched you listing the distances of your discs, but I ended before you fully concluded the video, so shame on me for that. 96%. Todd says, Doc, you need a throwing machine to throw exactly the same. That's true. That's the way to measure it. Oh, gosh. Cemetery says, what's with all the dinner plates behind you? Dude just says, we collect them. All right. So these are not actually plates. These are disc golf discs. Obviously, they function somewhat as a plate if you really needed to. Yes, in a pinch, you could use it to eat. But as opposed to a frisbee, a disc golf disc is designed to fly further and faster. Also, with a disc golf disc, it can really handle torque better, so you can grip it and throw and just send a disc flying. World record for a disc throw is 1,100 and shoot, 20 something feet is far. The boss, I did this last time. I forgot the record. 1,108 feet with wind. But still, discs can go really far. And that was on flat ground, not like down a mountain or anything. That can go even further. But I do get plates quite a bit. I bet those would be fun. It's a great time. Ryan says, looks like they'd be great for shotgun target practice. It'd be too easy. Much bigger than clay pigeons. Also, you could throw them further though. So you could have some, yeah, you could have some fun with that. You could throw it further than a clay pigeon gets launched pretty easily. So then, even though it's bigger, it'll be further away. Makes the target smaller. Could work. I did clay pigeon shooting for my buddy's bachelor party. It was really fun. USA says, how bad can you mess someone up if you get a headshot with one? It happened on the Pro Tour. A cameraman got hit, and he had to get stitches. It was pretty bad. They had to stop the tournament for several minutes. I don't know if it was an hour to get him out of there, but it can be really, really rough. Will Smith says, your head is very much a square. Thank you. That means that it's shapely. Appreciate the compliment. Doc says, I would think with a Frisbee's dome, it would glide more than most discs, even a 5 or 6 glide one. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. Todd says, the video was embarrassing. The last 20 seconds, I gave away 50 discs. You missed out. Of course I did. $11.58. Yeah, it was $11.08, according to the boss itself. Jordan said hi. Thanks for hopping on and joining us. Todd says, personally hate the distance records where they go in the desert with 50-mile-per-hour tailwind. So unfair. I like the distance championships. Yeah, distance championships are so much cooler. So much cooler. The ripping wind, I don't know. You can't even see the disc. You throw it and it's just poof, it's gone. But they actually, like, the distance championships are fully filmed and you have multiple cameras. You can see the measured distance as it lands. Much better. Much better. Got 6 now. Rip L&D shoe. That's sad. All right, Zach says, can you sign it? Yes, I will sign it. USA says, wild. Yeah, they can hurt. They can hurt. People in local tournaments have had to, quit. Actually, a guy on tour got hit while warming up and got a concussion and had to DNF. He had to quit the tournament. So I can't remember who that was. Maybe it wasn't the Pro Tour, but it was somebody playing like an A tier. It was like a big tournament. Maybe it was whatever. I can't remember. One of the best. I think it was one of the best amateurs. 2R Monster. Question mark. Doc says, Todd, I got mad because after one of those, they were like, well, new rule, no faster wind than we had. Stupid. Velocity says, yo. Todd says, it's true the video is stretched wonky. Yeah, I don't understand why. Velocity says, like the background. These are disc golf discs. This one, yeah, should be a Vapor Enigma. So yeah, all of these are discs that I have in my collection. I've thrown the majority of these. There are a couple that I've never thrown, like these two, some of my favorites. This Rocket League Stamped Force. I will not be throwing that. Even if Doc tries to persuade me to, it is a collector's disc. And this Buzz with a Legend of Zelda stamp with Link having a Hylian shield and a Master Sword. Super cool. So I do have discs that I will not be throwing back here. But the majority of these are kind of backup discs in case I lose a disc, in case my form changes a little bit, anything like that. And I have extras. Also, I give some away and let people borrow them, stuff like that. Dude just says, I hate how there's OB in the distance competitions. Yes, that is a little bit lame, and I was just thinking about that as well. Because it's like, you want to throw a roller, but if at the very end, it's going 750 feet, at the very end, it curls and it goes out of bounds. It's like, yeah, you didn't, like, you threw that distance, and it's like, oh, but the throw doesn't count. It's like, well, you would still get the distance off the tee. You would just have to take a penalty stroke. So I just don't understand why it just doesn't count for the distance competition. I think it's lame. Kevin says, almost hit my buddy in the back of the head after he was walking in front of me. Luckily, hit the tree instead. Awesome. Well, hey, that's good to know. Kevin, who wants to play around with me, it's good to know that he tends to almost hit people in the back of the head. So I'm going to be watching out for that. But I don't tend to walk in front of people. I am pretty careful, and also I'm filming a lot, so I tend to be the second or third person to leave the tee pad because I've got to grab the camera, grab my bag. Doc says giveaway idea contest in chat. Guess the speed of disc just by showing the underside. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. Doc says disc golf is unique to us all. Would never try to get someone to go against their belief unless they're an Al Gore fan. Oh my gosh. Of course. Dude just says my friend came in fourth. Oh, my friend came a fourth of an inch from hitting me in the back of the head from a drive. I felt it in my hair. That's unbelievable. That's wild. I'm so glad that you survived. Dude just says what Doc said with the giveaway. Dude, that's terrifying about almost getting hit. I have not been hit with a disc, but I did have a buddy in high school. We were practicing for track and field for a relay race. So we had these like little batons, but they have a little heft to them. They're little metal batons. So we do our handoff, and I go to like walk back, and he has the bright idea to chuck the baton at me. Hits me in the back of the head, cuts my head open from the inside of the rim of the baton, and I didn't need stitches or anything, but I had to quit practice because I was bleeding, and I had to go to like the school kitchen and get ice and paper towels, and I'm like 17, and my 17-year-old classmate had the brilliant idea to chuck a baton at the back of my head. I don't understand that kid. Sometimes things entered his head and he just did whatever popped in his mind. He just went for it. Maybe there was a screw loose. I don't know. I don't know. Brad signs giveaway disc. Winner loses it, gets found, and sent back to Brad. It's all in the plan. Doc says Kevin was a tree, okay? The tree is no longer with us. Poor tree. Poor tree. Todd says Al Gore invented the internet. That's why you have to sign the top. Yep, there we go. There we go. Doc says, also for the joke, I was trying to think of the least able to hate person. Todd says he was correct in his claim that the world would be flooded by 1995 due to melting ice caps. Man was on top of it. He totally knew. So that's why if you're ever gonna make false predictions, you always have to predict it for after you're dead. You can't predict something that's gonna happen during your lifetime. You have to predict it so that it happens after you die. That way you get the hype, you get people all listening to, they're like, yeah, this is happening. And then you die. There's no consequences because when people find out you're wrong, you're long gone. So that's how you do it. Just an FYI for any cult leaders, aspiring cult leaders out there, or politicians that we have in the chat who are thinking about saying, oh, something's going to happen, by such and such a date. Just push that date out a little bit further till after you're going to be gone, and then it's fine. Just cover your tracks a little bit better. Never predict something that's going to happen during your lifetime, because when it doesn't happen, you'll look stupid. That being said, I will predict that I'm going to win on Saturday. So, Great Flood of 95 will never be forgotten. If only we'd listened. Dujit says, think I'm going to try to plan a trip for myself next spring to the Charlotte area to play some of the courses. Ooh. If you do early summer, like first 2 weeks of June, the Charlotte Amateur Championship is a massive tournament for amateurs. So if you can do first 2 weeks of June, that is prime time to visit the Charlotte area. You'll probably be competing at either Nevin or Hornet's Nest, maybe both, depending on what division you play, maybe Scrapyard Eastway. It's going to be some good courses that you're going to play. So highly recommend, if it's possible, to do the first couple weeks of June to coincide with the Charlotte Amateur Championship. Either way, still amazing to visit Charlotte and to get to experience the courses. 100% say that it's worth it. Absolutely, it's worth it. And Yeah, depending on the situation, maybe I'll be out on the course. You can track me down, get a round in together. Would be a lot of fun. Dude, it says sounds like you have some experience with predicting things. Hmm. 1,000 IQ observation. That's the correct strategy for predictions. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. People never listen. You know that. That's true. That's true. People never listen. Doc says, Brad, if you predict the world will go to heck in 500 years, no one will care. Got to make it within a lifetime or to get them to change. Well, that's the thing. You just have to time it right. So if you're a 60-year-old politician, you say 38 years from now, XYZ is going to happen. All the kids freak out. All the young people are like, oh my gosh, that's in my lifetime. And you're like, either I'm going to be in a nursing home or I'm out of here. So you have to precisely time it. That's the real thing. You got to be like, got that covered. And then if it is beyond the lifetime of your audience, you have to appeal to the fear that it will impact their family and their children. So that's how you worm in there. Get that done. 500 years is too far. You got to go like 60, 70 years at most. Doc says, dude, I hope you win by 20 against Brad and tie with Brent. Roscoe says, dude, where'd you get all those discs from? A lot of these were given to me. Some of these I just played in a tournament and I got them as a player's pack. I couldn't think of a player's pack for a second. Here's a good example. I played in an April Fool's tournament and I got this stamped April Fool's disc from the Fox Flyers in Florida. Love the stamp. I like the Claymore compass. Claymore. Enjoy that disc. Made the bag for a while. So yeah, a lot of these were given to me. Maybe I did a disc review. I got a couple of mystery boxes given to me to open them on the channel. And then some of them were, I bought them. A lot of them I bought used for just a few dollars. A lot of them I used merchandise credit to get them. So a couple different ways, but collected them over time. You should see my older brother's collection, easily 5 times the size of mine, I would say. Yeah, 4 or 5 times the size. Unbelievable. Order them from Temu? Never. Temu sells the XFO discs. Tempted. Doc would be tempted to go onto Temu. Todd says would love an eagle's wigs. I don't understand. Dude just says official prediction: world will end in 2896. That's a very pressing prediction for me. Really scares the heck out of me. Eagle wigs reference. Is it supposed to be an eagle's wings, Todd? Was that like a Temu thing? I'm like a third of a step behind. Kevin says, where do you easily see and look up tournaments to sign up for? In the area. I've only done one this year at Rensky, but don't know where to sign up. So you want to go to Discgolf Scene, and that will help you filter. You can click on the tournaments tab, and it will have state, it will have time frame, and it will have format. So you can pick singles, doubles, team events, stuff like that. So you just want to do North Carolina, May, singles tournament. And it should pop right up. It's a chain reactions point series number 5 at Bradford. I think that's what it's called. You should find it fairly easily at that point. You could also look up my PDJ number and find me, and then you can see what tournaments I'm signed up for. That doesn't always work, but normally that's a good way to do it if you're trying to find events coming up for someone in particular, or if you're hoping to join the events that they've signed up for. Great question. Doc says, prediction, by the end of the year, I will buy more discs. I don't even think end of the year is necessary. I think end of the day is potential. We've seen it happen. Dude just says, high chance of being true. Todd says, prediction, I will continue collapsing my power pocket. Doc says, Brad, is that a fox with a fool's hat on? Yes, it is. So the Fox Flyers have the fox design, and they have the jester hat on for the April Fools. And the Fox Flyers have the fox design for other discs and adapted it for the April Fools, which is pretty cool. So this is their normal fox design. I'm trying to remember if they adapted other stamps for other holidays. I'm not remembering, but I remember that April Fool's one, of course. Disc Golf Scene? Yep. 99% of the times we'll be there. Yes. UDisc used to have a better tournament track down thing, but no. No longer. Steven spent way too much money on discs. Yeah, common problem. Especially for Doc. Especially for Doc. Not gonna lie, that XFO blue white plastic looked nice. Sci4 says, "Hi bro, you seem to like collecting a lot of plates. These are disc golf discs." If I could actually grab one. So these are not plates, although yes, in an emergency, it could function as a plate. But yes, these are disc golf discs meant for the sport of disc golf. Similar but quite different to a frisbee and different than ultimate frisbee. Usually I reach back and grab one more easily. Fury says hi. Dude says from a foundation video and where they use only Timo discs. Eagles Wigs was the name of one of them. Best disc in the game, Todd says. No, I did not see that, but I would imagine that it was like an Eagles Wings stamp that they changed it to an Eagles Wigs, but I don't even know that. I don't know why they would do Eagles Wings because it's not that popular. Fury says, how many do you have? About 250. About 250. Which is not that many for collectors. I have seen 1,000+ disc collections. There is another one very close by to me. Steven, would you introduce a newbie to disc golf by taking them to an open field to throw, or throw them in the proverbial fire by taking them to an actual course? This is a great question. I just did this with one of my friends from church. We met up at Eager Beaver, so a bunch of 140 to 250 foot shots. And we went to the warm-up area. I taught him some basics for the form. He threw a few and hit the cage from 120 feet on his third try. I felt very proud of that. I also showed him, hey, here's how you throw, and threw in from 120 feet on the first try. Was very proud of that. So that all was good. Taught him how to putt, and then we played. He got a birdie, and so I think that's the way to do it. Go find an easy course if you have an easy course. If you don't have any easy courses, then I think going to a course and just walking down the fairway and playing from halfway down the fairway is going to be the best way to do it. You want to get them the experience of throwing in or hitting a putt on a basket so they start to get hooked, but you probably want a little bit of warm-up or field work. I kind of missed forehanding because I'm bad at it, but he started throwing a few forehands after a while, and the forehands were working really well, and he kind of switched to forehands for the most part. So it actually was really nice that he kind of did some experimenting on his own. But I think hitting a course as part of the first disc golf experience is an essential element to experiencing what it's like to hit a putt, to throw and hit metal. Pulls you right in. Great question. Dot says actual course. Yeah. Chunky says, I collect Fiesta-ware plates as well. I do not collect Fiesta-ware plates, but I do collect disc golf discs. So one is a Growler, very flippy Lone Star disc, and it's a glow disc, which is nice. All of these discs fly a little bit differently from each other, and they're used in the sport of disc golf. If you take them for field work, they'll never play again, says Todd. Samurai Jack says, do you know where is Lada Niva? No, I don't know. I don't know what that is. The Blinks with Hunter just couldn't stop laughing. Did not watch that video, unfortunately. Dude just says local courses next to a baseball diamond complex. Holy cow, a ton of people that play travel ball. It's like 200 people there on the weekends. They end up warming up on the last 2 holes. That's so annoying. That's so annoying. I get it because they're packed for their event and they're like, oh, there's more space out there, but that's rough. A course is to hook them, and field work is for when they're already addicted. Yes, get that flipped around. That's perfect. Doc says, can't read. I thought Steven was talking about a new disc. Samurai Jack loved that show. Of course, Doc did. Don't agree with the only start with putters. Gotta let them try to hit a homer with some drivers as well. Yeah, I would keep it to 7 speed and below for the most part. because yeah, you do want that. I really think putters and mid ranges are just fine. And throwing a driver every once in a while, it's great to see your limitations. Put it that way. But some people also like throw with Anheuser, and so if you just give them a putter, they're just gonna roll putters. They're gonna roll mids. But you hand them a nuke, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, that actually went 200 feet. So it just depends. Everyone's different. Disc golf is very individual. Dude, gonna grab a disc after the last day of school for summer. Any suggestions other than the shoe or Brave? All right, so he's already taken out Doc and me from suggestions for the disc. I mean, I would say Wild Honey if I didn't know it was too flippy for you. Let's see. What disc should Duja throw? I mean, you can nab yourself an Emperor. Oh, you should try the Discmania Originals DD2, which is basically the Enigma that just dropped. It's another of their Originals line where they're taking discs and kind of just adopting them into the new line. It's a little bit lame because they're already discs that exist, but I get it. So that's the one that I recommend, is the DD2, the new Originals line DD2. I've thrown mine a few times, flies well. I think that you'd crank it out pretty far. For me, it does not turn over. So I think that unlike the Honey, you will find it's a little bit more stable and able to handle your power. And my video just disappeared. Okay, it's still fine. I still look a little bit square, but whatever. Emac Truth. All right. Probably more fairway or throwing putter. All right, so my recommendation doesn't matter anymore. You could pick up the range, a little bit of slightly understable Berg, basically. Really smart for saying take them halfway down the fairway. Maybe try that. Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. Get the disc golf experience without needing to throw all the way from the tee pad. Dude's already thrown the Emac Truth and not a fan. Taught the latest DGAM with Emac. How about tell us new Emacs from old Emacs? I don't know. Berg, currently bagging a Berg. Oh, there you go. Yeah, what is a DGAM? I don't know what that is. Disc Golf Answer Man? I don't even know what that is. Todd says, Dude, we are now sworn enemies. Man, one guy says I don't like the truth. Pipeline by DGA. Oh, that's a good one. I have a pipeline that Ellie Mittling gave to me in Florida at the Chainhawk Open. So pipeline is a pretty solid disc. I think that Dujit, you'll benefit from it because it's supposed to be, Ellie says, straight shot, just goes dead straight for you. It is a 7 or 8 speed. And for me, I found it was slightly stable to kind of fade a little bit. Love the disc, but I couldn't replace my FD1 because it's so perfect. But yeah, good shout out. Pipeline is a good disc. And if someone with the distance potential of Ellie Mittling is saying it flies straight, probably fly straight. New Emacs are more stable. Numbers in the DD2, 12, 5, negative 1, 2. So it's not as flippy as the Honey. It's not the negative 2, 2. And it's a more premium plastic as well. So it handles the torque a little bit better. DD2 Frenzy. 13.5, negative 2, 2. That's the Honey, not the DD2. Hard to find the Westside Warship in air plastic. Brad, look into the Atmos plastic. I can't explain it. All right. I'll open up a tab. Okay. If I can type things correctly. I'll leave that tab open for later. I'll look at the Atmos plastic. So top 3 are DD2, Proto, and Pipeline in no order. Victoria says Sigma. Can we do another poll for Dujit? Dujit, do you want me to do a poll for this? I will. Todd says they need to be my Emac Truth does not fly like a 0-2, maybe a negative 1-2. Interesting. Speaking of poll, I have not even checked our poll once. Oh, and now I still haven't checked it. And interesting, it's a little more split than I thought, but we've got 67%, Yeah, 68% of the votes saying that an ace is more epic. Getting that hole in one is pretty awesome. And about 32% saying an eagle on a par 4 or 5 is more epic. It's hard to say. Sometimes depends on the course. If you hit an ace on a huge course in your round, it can be amazing. But if you go out and you get an eagle on a massive course, it can feel like you're a real champion. Benjamin says, how do I get into disc golf? I can't even skip a stone. Well, there's two good things about that. Number one, I can't skip a stone very well, and I've won 14 or 15 disc golf tournaments, including a high-level amateur tournament. And so there's a lot of hope for you. And number two, discs, if you throw them right, will just skip themselves. So I have a skip shot ace, actually, where I got a hole in one by throwing a skip throw. Actually, I have two. Because a disc that hits the ground as it starts to fade will lift off the ground for you. You don't have to put it into the ground 20 feet away from you, 10 feet away from you at the exact angle. So skipping stones, doesn't matter if it's difficult for you. Maybe forehand is not for you. Maybe you're built to be a backhand guy. And skipping stones is tough because you're trying to get that forehand to work. Maybe that's why I'm bad at skipping stones, now that I think about it. But I recommend giving it a shot because maybe you're just a backhand legend. JP, would you... Oh, gosh. All right. And now I can't scroll. Awesome. I love it when my laptop says that it's just done working. Olivia said hi. Dude just says used to crank out an X3, which is basically the same as the DD2 numbers. Might have to try it. 100%. Recommend the Enigma/DD2. Todd, had to get to the Eternal Void. Needed trustworthy 5-speed. Dude, wouldn't mind a poll. Okay. And if this will load, 92 votes. That's enough. We got close to 100. We got close. All right, let's get a poll rolling. Maybe. My laptop just froze for a second. All right, this poll is going to take a minute. This is my, well, okay, it's not my best performing laptop, but this is my replacement laptop after my laptop was bad. Oh, gosh. All right, getting the poll set up. What was the other ones? You said the proto and the pipeline. It won't type. Like, I typed in pipeline and it's frozen with just the P. Oh, there we go. And it goes pipeline all of a sudden. Come on, you can do this. This might be the only other poll that I start tonight because this is infuriating. I just love it when technology absolutely despises me. I saw somebody said something about, is it hard to get into disc golf? I think it's very easy to get into disc golf. I find it a very enjoyable sport to play. It's very low requirement on your body. You don't have to be athletic to play and enjoy playing disc golf. But of course, you have to be athletic if you want to like compete or succeed at a high level. But that's different than just playing the sport and enjoying it. It's also cheap to try it out. You can get a starter set for cheap, $20, $30, or even find someone who plays and get a couple of discs for free, some of their old, no longer used discs, and you can fully experience disc golf by yourself. So you can go to a course with 2 or 3 discs and play disc golf and see if you like it. And if you love it, then you end up with this. Okay. Hopefully I correctly created that poll because it was being a little bit of a pain. Just throw a frisbee and admire the flight. There you go. Then go crazy and just buy as much plastic and just play as much as you can. Okay. Doc says change your bag as often as possible. Terrible advice. Todd says I can skip a stone 100 times across a pond, can't throw a disc more than 20 feet. Even though I saw Todd throw 287 feet on camera. Dude just says backhanders rise. Good to know I have a slim shot of being Todd at disc golf. Papa John says, thanks, man. Have to go. Papa John, thanks for hopping on and joining us. Appreciate it, man. And you have a good one. God Lover says hi. Hello. Thanks for hopping on the stream. Hoping you would leave some pizzas. Yeah, Papa John doesn't leave pizzas. Too bad. Is disc golf hard to get used to? I think I saw that earlier and kind of answered it. But I will say that I used to play ultimate frisbee, and throwing a disc took getting used to because it's not the same thing. I would throw a frisbee really like without a finger underneath the rim. I would just have it on the outside and just throw. So when I started throwing discs, I tried to throw them the same way, and it was terrible. They would not go anywhere. But when I learned a proper fan grip, all of a sudden I could throw much further. So it does take some getting used to, but if you have a natural like baseball throw, sometimes the forehand is really easy. Bears says, bruh. Yeeper says hi. Doc says, why do people say said hi? I think it's like you click a, I don't know because I don't see it on my laptop, but I'm assuming it's on a phone where you click like the wave button or something and it does the said hi for you. You don't have to type anything. Easy to learn, years to master. That's fairly true. Yeah, fairly true. Smoking and hi both said hi. Look at that. My laptop is not working, so I can't scroll the chat. Awesome. Doc says, Brad, got a virus from going to the dark web to find ways to pick a lock. Okay. I have a virus too, but it's just a really flippy MVP disc. Dude just says, used my friend's beaten base beast, and it flipped up at like 30% power. LOL, and that's not just me. Todd says, I'm a Luddite, to heck with technology. Yeah, seriously. Do I still have my... Oh, did I give it away? Oh, I don't know if I've shown my dragon on camera recently or not, but I have an Innova dragon. Dang. I must have given my beast away. I had a super beaten beast that was DX plastic. So flippy. XYZZZ says, is that a rack of frisbees? So basically, yes, these are disc golf discs. If I could grab this. I went for a Brave. Oh yeah, I grabbed a Brave. Of course I did. So these are all disc golf discs. They are similar but different to frisbees. They fly further and faster and are designed for it. And in the sport of disc golf, all of these discs are going to fly a little bit differently. So like this disc, this Brave, I have multiple Braves because I love how it flies so much that I want extras as backups in case that I need it. If I lose one or if I want multiple in the bag. This is also a Brave. But then some things like here, I have a Ballista and a Thunderbird. Slightly different discs. I'm gonna have to rewatch this to know what order I just pulled these out in. Now my own stream is like a minute behind me. I'm watching myself pull the Brave down right now. This is weird. And now yep, okay. At least the Dragon's only $8. That's true. The new Dragon stamp, gotta admit, is pretty slick. That's Doc for you. Probably have 20 dragons? That's insane. That's genuine insanity. I agree. If you want to pick a lock, check out Lockpicking Lawyer. I have seen a couple of his videos. Pretty cool. Sneaky Pete says Crave is better than Brave. Depends on what you want. I love the Crave as well. I don't think I have one anymore because I gave it to my brother-in-law and he lost it. Love the Crave, but let's see. I think the Crave is -2 too, and I need a disc that's going to drift right, but it's never going to turn and burn. I'm gonna double check the flight numbers of the Crave so I don't completely just make assumptions about it. But Crave is a great disc. Not to mention, it was the PDGA membership disc the first year I was a member. Oh, it's a 6.5 speed. That's right. 5 -1-1. So the kind of minimal downside of the Crave for me personally is if I throw and I power up on a Crave, it starts to drift right. It's just going to drift right. But a Brave, as it turns right, it's eventually going to slow down and come back. I have a couple of videos on my channel. One of them, I hit the cage from 350 feet with a big turnover shot with the Brave, where it just went right for the whole flight, and then right near the end, it just hooked up and skipped back and hit the cage. It's what I need it to be. The Crave thrown exactly like that would never reach 350 because it would hit the ground at 30. Nothing against the Crave, only saying personal preference and how it flies for me. Awesome. And now it's just loading endlessly. All right, we're gonna try to troubleshoot this real quick. We're gonna see if I can get my laptop functioning again. That would be really nice. Also, why in the world is my video strange and all squared up? Makes no sense. Come on, you can do it. Any day now, this is going to actually start working again. I'm sure of it. I hope that you guys can see me just fine, and it's just my laptop. I assume it's just my laptop acting up as I just see a spinning wheel of loading. All right, I guess this is a good time to take a water break. I have a question. Did any of you watch Gannon Burr's throwing instructional video that he dropped 2 days ago? I watched it. Okay. The voice inside my head. Oh. Okay. This is great. Hey, I think I'm back. I think that it's back. Good night. Okay, okay. I see a lot of great questions. Before I lose it, I want to answer one that said, what, besides putters, what disc do you have the most of? I think it's going to be the Echo. Nope, that's a Soul. Actually, I only have one on the shelf right here, but I have a signed Echo here. That's 2. I have an Echo right here, 3, and 2 in the bag, so I have 5 Echoes. So I think that's the disc that I have the most copies of would be the Echo. Yeah. Next would be the Brave. I have 4. Ooh, actually, maybe have to change my mind on that one. Yep. I have 2 Enigmas in the bag. Excuse me, in the bag. 3 Enigmas right here. Another Enigma right here. And another Enigma. Guys, do I have another one? I have another Enigma. It's up here. Different plastic. So, number 1, Enigma. I have like 7 or 8. Number 2, Echo. Number 3, Brave. Okay. Sleepy Z says, if you say a brain rot word for each letter, I'll donate. It's just not even worth the effort. I don't know that many brain rot words. Skibbity. All right. Love them as sacrificials. The end of the dragons, of course. Of course. Todd says, remembered another favorite movie to add to the list. Bone Tomahawk. Amazing and obscenely gory movie. Highly recommend for those with strong stomachs. Not one that I'll rush to see. Doc says he's trying to pick one on a video game. Yeah. The Obsidian locks. The Obsidian locks took me a while to figure out. Still bad at them. Todd's son loves the Glow Crave. Heck yeah. Dude just says too cheap to go for the PDJ discs. I'm 100% with you. The first year I signed up, it came with the PDJ disc, and the next year they changed it to pay extra for it. I don't pay extra for it. They add a real premium. Yeah, they do. Sneaky says, yep, different discs. Do love giving newbies the Crave. Excellent forehand disc as well. Yep. I think Crave is one of the better early discs that you could pick. Yeah. Flies like a driver, but it's only 6.5 speed, so it has so much more control. All right, this is 5 minutes ago, so I do want to catch up. Dude has a Glow Range and Crave. Heck yeah. Kevin has the same problem with the Crave, just understable. Yep. Wandering Soul says freebie collector. I'm guessing frisbee. Disc golf collector. Yes. Todd says, "Okay, boys, live from the shower. All right, getting clean." Whoever modded that comment, thank you. No camera. So I'm literally scrolling chat right now, and as I scroll, the bottom half is just blank. Like it's just white, and it's scrolling up with it, so that I can't see these comments. I don't understand what's going on. Maybe I just need to lower the resolution of my video. See if it handles it better. Why is this being such a pain? I have literally nothing else running on my laptop. I'm going to open Task Manager and see if it's struggling. It's struggling to open Task Manager. I'll say that right now. What in the world? Oh, also I unplugged the laptop. Oh my gosh, 95% memory, and it's all Firefox? Oh my gosh, what in the world? There's no shot. All right, we're down to 83% memory. What in the world? Oh, back up to 87. I don't understand what's going on. I wonder if my stream has had some choppy problems because my laptop was working so hard and it's like pulling on the Wi-Fi because it's struggling. I don't know if that makes any sense. Well, anyway, yeah, I'm gonna be behind on chat like I always am, but this time it's not my fault, not totally. Good night, this is unbelievable. I guess I'll just talk about the Echo. So the Echo is a great disc. It's an excellent mid-range. It's slightly understable, which for me allows me to throw with a little bit of hyzer, and it just seems to go dead straight, exactly most of the time, exactly where I'm trying to throw it. Just an excellent disc, really, really fantastic, and my internet just won't flip and work. But yeah, so shout out to the Echo, one of the best mid-ranges in my opinion for a long time. If you throw like 450, it's probably going to be too flippy for you, so it's not going to be that type of disc for you. But for me, for my arm speed, it's just perfect. Oh my goodness, this is very enjoyable. 97% memory. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to just close Firefox and open it. Oh, but I don't want to lose the... Okay. I'm just closing Firefox. So this is why I'm on my like third laptop of the year. This was a new laptop that I purchased for editing videos and working, and it's not working. So my brother-in-law, shout out to my brother-in-law Ben. Thank you, Ben. Thankfully, gave me a better laptop that I'm able to actually edit on without my laptop just struggling. I mean, I literally have everything closed on my laptop. I have nothing going on, and it can't run a YouTube video. I have Firefox closed, and it's taking multiple minutes to fully exit Firefox. Okay, so finally, Firefox is 100% closed. My memory usage went from 90 to 34, and now apparently I just can't run Firefox on this thing. Which I did not know that Firefox was such a bad browser. Apparently it's absolutely horrible. Okay, back to the channel. Back to the stream. Sorry. Okay, hey, it looks like things are functioning. Doc likes Chrome because he uses a Chromebook. That's fair enough. And it looks like the votes are tied between an Innova Dragon and a pipeline. Oh my gosh. That is a beautiful thing. And by that, I mean that is unbelievable. Okay. I love that I'm back and my video is still square. All right, guys, I'm going to have to miss out on a lot of these comments. I'll try to just hit the highlights here as I go back. Let's see. River is nice, straight, 7-speed with a lot of glide, great for new players. I do like the River, and it's got just a little bit of extra speed to it, and just drifts. And if you have a good enough plastic, it's not too flippy. Tots is streaming live on my channel. Please don't. Let's see. The Dragon was winning. Yeah, well, it is tied. 3-way tie for the lead. Dragon, Pipeline, Proto. That's hilarious. Dude just says, do not look at Ganon's form video. It is semi-reliant on him being 6'8". Either way, I guess I'd benefit. Yeah, there are a few elements. Honestly, it was a good check for me because it was like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I'm doing that. But I think the big thing was that I think I'm early because I'm using my arm too much. I'm starting to throw the disc instead of letting my body mechanics swing my arm for me. But that's just me. Gonzalo says, what's up? Kevin says, watch the Burr video. That's ideally what made me want to change my grip. Gained like 50 feet in distance because of the amount of flick I'm able to put on the disc now. There you go. Did he promote fan grip? No. 4-finger power grip. But his fingers are so massive that for me, like to power grip, I'm like this. He was power gripping like this. Like he had his fingers all the way around the putter so easily. Like it was this wild thing versus like me trying to get my fingers around the driver. It was something to behold. Dude says, should do a birdie time Spotify playlist or movie list or something. Ooh, that's a good idea. I would write that down if my task manager wasn't going to complain if I opened one more tab. But yeah, that's good. That's good. Spotify playlist or movie list. I'd like that. I should do that. Seems like his index fingers are looser on the disc. The other ones are power gripped. Yeah. His index fingers like bent away from the other ones. Brad hasn't seen movie watch along night. That's interesting. A lot of movies I haven't watched. David says, what's your favorite Spice Girl? I have no knowledge of or vote for favorite Spice Girl. Doc says Baby Spice. I don't. Firefox may use more system resources if it's left open. Workaround is to periodically restart. I just periodically a moment ago restarted, and it's using 1,100 megabytes, and I'm up at 57% memory just opening it up and running YouTube. I don't know. Dude just says left for 5 minutes and Brad's laptop almost exploded, I guess. Basically. Basically. We're okay now. We are okay now. All right, and I have caught back up to chat. I'm immensely proud of myself. So now if you leave a comment, I'll actually see it. Was there a chili powder Spice Girl? I tell you what, I watched more of than the Spice Girls was the Powerpuff Girls, the cartoon Powerpuff Girls. Yeah, my older sister and I would watch the Powerpuff Girls a little bit. So I watched more of that than the Spice Girls, which I think I watched zero. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever watched the Spice Girls. Ginger is close. Maybe your computer needs more RAM. It absolutely does. Part of why I have the newer computer, but I figured that this computer, which I bought new 4 months ago, I figured it could run a YouTube video. Maybe that was a big mistake on my part, thinking that a laptop computer could run a YouTube video. It's my bad, but I did make that assumption, so that's on me. It handled editing in CapCut for a month or so before it started having real issues with it. As soon as you can cash in your first pro tourney, you need a better laptop. Yeah, I do. Yeah, the good thing about the other laptop I have, which is off camera, I have that set up for editing in DaVinci Resolve and running OBS. And so it's set up, it's plugged in for gaming and recording or streaming. So it's set up, but it's over there by the Xbox. And I didn't want to try disconnecting it. And it's massive too. I like keeping it where it is, just to help run the stream for Disc Golf. But maybe if I get some big enough cables, I could use it to run the stream from OBS, the Disc Golf stream. That would be interesting because I could probably get like waiting screens. Like if I run to get a drink or use a bathroom, I could put a like I'll be back screen. That'd be interesting. Anyway, there's extra stuff you can do from OBS versus just going live from your phone, which is what I like to do at the moment. Mayor on Powerpuff Girls and his secretary made that show. Baking says, I want to break all those plates. You have a hard time with these Disc Golf discs. These are not going to break like a plate will. These are made to be thrown and hit trees and bounce off and basically be just fine. So these Disc Golf discs will weather the storm pretty well. I don't have it with me, but I have a Disc Golf disc that I've been competing with for the last 3 years in the bag, my soul. I've hit tree after tree after tree after tree, and it flies great. It holds up great. Just has a couple little scuff marks on it. Yeah, you'll be hard pressed to get through this plastic. Maybe in the winter you'll shatter a disc. I've done it. Nope, this way. It is a base plastic, but I did hit a tree and take a chunk off of my katana, which I have aced with. My first ace was with this katana. And in the spring in Michigan, I hit a tree and a chunk just came off. I was like, no. But honestly, I needed to stop throwing the katana anyway. Doc says, David, of course, his favorite is Ginger. He has to support his people. Todd says, Brad doesn't believe he's Ginger. He says it's just his beard. He thinks he's a brownie. I mean, do I have red hair on my head? I don't think I do. I don't think I do. I think it's just the beard. People in my local club hate katanas more than grooves. I don't get the hate. Katanas are great. It's just the base plastic katana beaten up was way too flippy for me, and it was time to throw discs more suited for my playstyle and arm speed. But I actually lost it and got another katana used, chained out of the ace with this katana, and then it's already nasty and beat up, but it still flew well for a while. But then just kind of moved on to discs better suited for my game. But the katanas were great. Voices on my head says mine hit a lot of trees. Yep. A lot of trees. Gotta keep it in trees. It's part of the life, part of the disc golf game. Oh my gosh. Innova Dragon leading the poll 35%. DD2 at 18%, Pipeline at 24, Proto at 24. Wow. Wow. I just don't even know what to say about that. Dude Disc Golf says, "What's up, y'all?" Hey, Dude Disc Golf, we have a poll running. You should vote. Oh, it looks like we got another vote for the Proto. Interesting timing. Interesting that you didn't vote for the Innova Dragon. Doc says Innova Dragons are the best disc. It's just facts. It's just a claim. Todd says live by the tree, die by the tree. If they ever make a clear line, I'm only bagging one disc. Innova Dragon. See through. Know some beavers who say that, Todd. Live by the tree, die by the tree. It's pretty amazing how beavers listen for a tree cracking to see if it's about to fall and then keep chewing at it. It's kind of wild. Pretty impressive. Dude just says, okay, going back to my regular account. Should I mod Dugit Disc Golf or should I not mod Dugit Disc Golf? You don't know those beavers anymore. Elbow squished. Those poor beavers. All right, is this the part where I say I'm starting to get tired? It's only been an hour and a half and I'm kind of wiped. That's crazy. I didn't even play that much disc golf this last week. Like two weeks ago, I played 11 rounds of disc golf. Last week, I played 4 rounds of disc golf. Just not that many by comparison. Talking beavers makes me think of Wild Robot. Doc says, gotta leave by 9, work tomorrow. Well, I'll try to make it to 9 for Doc. But that might be pushing it for me. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Just me in my old age. That was a good movie. I haven't seen Wild Robot. I always hesitate to research whatever Dugit throws out there. Pedro Pascal, though, okay. I'm interested. Oh, this was the animated. Gotcha. This is like, okay. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I rescind my criticism. Doc says, not gonna lie, teared up. Todd says, where do I remember the Eager Beaver from? Maybe the easy course Eager Beaver from Charlotte, North Carolina. Probably not, but maybe. Steven says, try the Trace. It will be in the MVP Circuit Challenge anyway. Trace is good. I had a Trace, and my buddy threw it in a massive turnover into the swamp, and I never saw it again. It was a cool Trace, too. It had the alien spaceship with the tractor beam, so it kind of had the Trace, tractor beam, Trace idea, concept. I thought that was kind of cool. And I've thrown another Trace. I liked it. Yeah, I wish I'd thrown it more to really understand it and figure it out. All right, gonna just skip Todd and we're just gonna skip Todd and Doc's conversation. Just ignore the fact that that's happening. Innova Dragon at 32%, Proto at 26%, Pipeline 21, DD2 21%. Steven says, is it similar to a Grace? Oh, they should do an MVP circuit sample. Looks like a circuit. I think the Trace is more stable than the Grace. Let me see. Now that my internet is actually working at the moment. Although I am getting, turns out if you just search for flight numbers and you say a generic, like a generic airline term, you start getting actual flights, as I just found out. 11.5, -1.2 for the Trace versus the Grace, which I think is a 12.5, -1.2. Oh, where's the Grace? No, I know it's not that one. There you are. 11.6, -1.2. So apparently the Grace is glidier and faster. I would say that my Trace flew more stable than the Grace does, but it was a premium, like it was a harder plastic, like a Tour Series plastic. Maybe I should give him a Trace. Doc said it was behaved. Oh, dude just says he got a friend named Trace. Give him the Trace. That's a good idea. Trace is the same numbers as Photon. Photon I found to be wildly overstable. Dude just says, all I want for a disc is to have it be dyed half and half. They look so cool in air. I am so sad. I don't know if any of you guys watched, by the way, shout out to myself. The coverage of the, I know Dude left a comment. You were there. The coverage from the Charlotte Roar Open that happened in December just last week on the Greatest Media Team YouTube channel. What a name. And it's my play with Paul Ulibarri. If you haven't seen it, you should check that out. Leave a comment in support of me. That would be great. I think the commentators already like respect my YouTube channel and like me, even though I didn't play the best while I was on coverage. But all of that to say, I threw my Valkyrie, which I think they called a Sentinel. Another thing, they asked me what discs I throw on each shot. And so I typed up in like 20 minutes, I typed up hole one. I threw, let's see if I can remember. I threw Enigma shot, Valkyrie upshot, Warden missed the putt, Warden for the putt, missed, tapped in with the Warden. I was like, this is what I did on every hole. They apparently lost that list because halfway through the video, they start trying to name my discs and they saw my soul and they're like, that's his rock. And I'm like, no. And then I threw my Valkyrie and they're like, that's his Sentinel. I'm like, that's not right. All that to say, my Valkyrie was blue and yellow, two-tone dyed, loved it, flipping awesome disc, and I lost it. Makes me very sad because it would still be in the bag, but I lost it. Anyway, I love that two-tone dye as well. Dude just says, yeah, I think they called you a YouTube star. They did call me a YouTube star. It was a little bit excessive, but it was very kind of them, so I'll take it. They also talked about how eclectic my bag is, which is true. I have 9 or 10 different manufacturers in the bag right now. And if I go to certain courses, I'll swap in a Prodigy disc and have like 10 or 11. So I do have quite an eclectic bag, and I do release a video every week. So a lot of things they said were nice and true. Some of it was true, some of it was just flattery. It was great. And then I proceeded to like chain out of 3 circle 1 putts. Todd said, I corrected your name on their first video. They had Hendrix, and I said, whoa there, buddy, don't mess up my boy's name, and they fixed it. I did think I saw Hendrix, and then I was looking yesterday, and it said Hendrick, and I was like, did I imagine? Was it a different video? So that's hilarious that they fixed it. I didn't notice they fixed it, but I did see that did say Hendrix at one point. So that is interesting. That's funny. So Todd, thank you. Thank you for fixing that for me. You made that happen. Steven says, Rip Valk. Yeah, that one was a sad one. That Valkyrie did work for me. I'm glad I have a Brave now that does a lot of the work of the Valkyrie, but still, they fly differently. And I have a replacement Valkyrie from my brother. Flies great, not exactly the same. It's never exactly the same. Voice inside my head says, I thought the Photon being overstable for me was my bad throwing. I have a lightweight one that flies flat. I like the wave to hyzer flips and straight shots. I use the photon in headwind. Yeah, I don't know if I had a similar experience. It's off camera there, but I have a photon that just for me is so overstable, and I just couldn't figure it out. So I just ended up not trying to throw it. I just said, whatever, whatever. Dude just says, think of my least thrown disc is my Gyropalooza Balance because it's from one of the batches that came out too overstable, or as I call it, the off balance. Steven says, I somehow, yeah, because it's so overstable. It's off balance. It's just wild. Steven says, and I somehow thought you played that tourney in Scrapyard because I remember a short with you and Yuli at hole 8. And that's interesting because that was like 2 weeks later. I ran into Yuli and Joseph filming ace runs at Scrapyard 8. And I did say hi, and he did recognize me. It took him a second, but he did recognize me as being on the card with him. I didn't say, hey, I beat you. I just said, hey, we play together in the Charlotte Roar. And he's like, oh, yeah, yeah. So it was really nice. It was really cool. He talked a lot about being a dad and like his family. It was really sweet. It was really awesome. But yes, Steven says where he shouted free lessons. Yes, that was casual round where they were doing some filming versus the coverage from a few weeks before that in the Charlotte Roar Open. Yeah. Todd said, yeah, then I deleted my comment because I didn't want people to think I was a weirdo. Don't worry, Todd. We would never think that. Doc says, didn't want to be associated with Team Brad instead of Team Brent. I feel ya. Hey, that's doing the real work right there. Leaving a comment, making things change, and then just quietly fading to the background like Homer Simpson into the hedge and just stepping back, remove your comment, and just all is now right with the world, and you've now gone. That's pretty great. Dude just says Valk was one of my first favorite discs. Not as much now. Yeah, Dude not throwing the -2/2s anymore. Ooh, E. coli says, new to the channel, but how do you feel about the cicada? I love the cicada. I will probably not find it as easily. Yeah, I found it. I love the cicada. I have this one from the CCR, the Capital Cities Renegade in Lansing, Michigan. And I love it. Gentle drift to the right. It's going to, if you throw it a little bit low powered, it's going to just drift and come back. If you power up, it's just holding that turn for you. So I love me a gently understable fairway driver like the Brave. So I love the cicada. I like the Sagara as well because it gives you that balance. Oh, do you want a little turnover? Grab your cicada. Oh, do you want to come back a little bit? Grab the Sagara. Threw a Sagara for the first time last week or 2 weeks ago. But yes, I'm a fan of the cicada. And actually, one of my leaderboard records that I set on a dinky little 9-hole course where I went 8 down through 9 was with only 3 discs. I grabbed the cicada, I think, my soul, and a warden that wasn't even a warden I was bagging, and went 8 down through 9. So cicada, shout out cicada for being a great disc. How do you like the cicada? Doc says, a lot of noobs like the Valk, one of the first real distance discs. Yep, true. Doc says, Todd, what if we get the pros to know Brad as Soup Boy? Lots to leave Soup Boy on all their videos until they believe it, I'm sure. Dude just says, on my way to that video now. All right. Doc says, next time on Brody's channel, I'll talk to him. He loves a good joke. Bet he will get Yuli on it. Oh, my word. Doc says, we'll do it on the next time he's ripping sports cars. He does a lot of interaction with his mods and fans. Dude left a comment on the round 2 video. That's how it's done. And Tegan is back. Said hi again. Welcome back. Doc says, everyone, hashtag Superboy on Brad's videos. Oh my gosh. Hey, more comments is good, I guess. I don't know. I don't even know. So I don't want to spoil anything. Brent already kind of shouted out, and I accidentally spoiled extra. It's going to be a couple weeks before the footage is out, but Brent and I did some practice for our upcoming tournament, which is going to be at Bradford on Saturday. And we had a very fun match play round where we played match play against each other. If you know how match play works, basically you don't really keep track of your score. You just keep track of if you win a hole, you're up by one. Every hole that you win, you get up by one. But if the other person wins, then you go back to even, or they go up on you. So it's either zeroed out or one person is winning. So you get up to 1 point per hole, basically. And I think that you guys are really going to enjoy that video. So keep your eye for when that drops, hopefully in just less than 2 weeks, because I think it's going to be one of the best content, one of the best videos in terms of content that I'm going to be dropping on the channel. I think maybe only I can only think of like 4 or 5 videos of mine that I filmed that I like more than this match play video. And that includes the Chain Hawk Open where I won. I like that more. But I think that this is going to be like a top video on the channel. So keep your eyes peeled for it. It was a lot of fun filming that and really great practice for our upcoming tournament as well. Dude just says, I told them they made a mistake on Hendrick's name. He goes by Soup Boy. Awesome. Todd says, Yuli would love to get the amateur who beat him. Oh. Yeah, well, Yuli has a lot of amateurs beat him because he goes out there and plays those C tiers or those A tiers or whatever. And even when he does play an MPO, it's like you get a bunch of MA1 players like myself or Josiah, the guy who won, but Josiah Barheight, who maybe turns down cash, maybe accepts the cash, but is there to play an MPO. And so I'm sure Yuli does not remember me. But that's okay. I would think that he would recognize me if it, but I hurt my own cause because when I was in the Charlotte Roar Open, I had not gotten a haircut for a long time. So my hair was long, my beard was very long for me. It was very like extra compared to how trimmed up it is now. So doesn't help that now that I have a haircut, I kind of look like a human again. Jay Millie says, why don't you ever throw forehand? That's a great question. My forehand sucks. I've been working on it on and off for the last few months, and I've had a couple of good forehands, but for the most part, forehand is not great. And I have worked a lot on throwing backhand turnovers. So I bag multiple flippy discs. I have a Soul, I have a Keystone, I have a Brave, I have a really beaten in Dynasty, and sometimes I have an X4 in the bag. All of them so that I can throw turnover shots to compensate for not having a forehand. And for like 95% of the time, that's no problem. I'll just throw the turnover. Occasionally, the ceiling is so low that I need the forehand or I need the forehand skip shot. That does happen. But for the most part, I find that throwing the turnover is much more controllable. It's much more accurate, and I can hit the line. Actually, just yesterday in our match play video, I'll spoil this. There's one hole that's like 250 feet straight and then 50 feet right. And it's into this gap that's, 230 feet off the tee. Brent throws a forehand, just hits the gap perfectly. I throw a turnover with the Soul, hit the gap perfectly. We both make it into the circle. So it's like most of the time that there's a forehand line, the turnover shot works. And sometimes the turnover shot works better because you can hit the angle and continue to fly forward versus a forehand, which is only going to be able to continue fading. So great question. It is both because I suck at it and because backhand is a strength. Backhand turnovers is a strength. Would love to, let's all hope that Brent wins. I hope Brent takes second. Vishal says, love from India. Jay Millie says, also, you're so freaking good. Ever been pro? So we were actually just talking. The footage was just released from the Charlotte Roar Open 2025, where I played on the lead card with Paul Ulibarri. and I struggled, but I beat Yuli. So I have played in MPO. I have played against Paul and other professionals in the tournaments with them, but I have not played on Pro Tour. That's next level. And I'm playing MA1 through most of this year until the amateur majors are done. US Amateurs, Amateur Worlds, and US Amateur Doubles. I'm hoping to participate in all three of those. And when those are all wrapped up, I'm stepping into MPO and I'm never looking back. I have played, I think I've turned down about $350 in MPO so far. So I'm at the point where I can play, I can compete in MPO, but I'm not going to like dominate or anything. But I can make my money back. I'm looking forward to playing MPO at the end of the year. And I appreciate the compliment. Doc says, be nice to him, Brent. He's a team captain and could get you on the team. Dude just says because he sucks at them. All right, dude. Already, before you could even say it. Dude just says, I'm presuming this is a phony J Millie. Steven says it doesn't suck. Steven, you saw my best forehand in the last 4 months. I won't lie. That was my best forehand in the last 4 months. 100%. Calvin's made a nice career without much of a forehand. Yes, and though Calvin's forehand is crazy good. It's crazy good. But yes, Isaac, Calvin, James Conrad, a lot of people throw predominantly backhand and don't have a problem with it. But it does turn out when you do get a forehand, the scramble shots become a lot easier. And that hurt Calvin because his scramble forehand is fantastic. And when Calvin didn't have his forehand for a few months with his elbow, I think it cost him like 2 tournaments where he had 4, 5, 6 shots, 6 strokes, where he was on a tree on his left side, couldn't forehand it, had to stance out and throw a backhand and took an extra stroke because a little bit of an elbow injury. Todd says, live from the road, no more commenting. Dude just says, Calvin's also a specimen of a human. That is very true. Doc says, real question, if forehand troubles, have you thought going roller? I have almost never found that a roller was better than a turnover. There have been cases where roller works really well, but only at really long distances, I would say. For the most part, if it's a low ceiling and it's tucked right, I can still throw a drifting shot under the ceiling and be better than a roller. So I don't know. There just aren't, I can't even think of a hole right now where I'm like, I can think of one hole at Dry Creek, hole 2, where the turnover doesn't work because there's no ceiling. But if they don't mow the grass, the forehand doesn't work either because you can't get a skip. Like it's that low of a ceiling. So developing a roller for one hole at one course when the turnover works as well as a good forehand would work, I just don't see the need for it. Todd. Doc says, Todd, be safe. Todd says, okay, I will. And then exploding emoji or whatever that is. It's pretty good. Dude just says, tried to Rolo yesterday, and it is so much more understable than I remembered. Yes, they are. Doc says, not in a tournament, but out in a field. The Rolo is fun. It's fun. It's fun. It's a really flippy disc. The Rolo, the tumbleweed, whatever version of that roller disc is. You almost have to just like throw it firmly, but not fast to get it to just lay down into a roller. But they work. 24 votes. We have Innova Dragon and Proto tied at 33%. Pipeline and DD2 tied at 17%. Very interesting poll. Doc says, Brad, your next windy day, your field working, take a Rolo. Nice, nice, nice. All right. I have to use the restroom. I'm going to leave you guys to spam soup in the chat while I'm gone. It should only be a couple minutes, but I'm going to run and use the bathroom and I'll be right back. Dude just says, does anyone know if burgers are allowed in glitch champs because they're still at 1 speed? If the rules are 1 speeds, then it's a 1 speed. still so confused about the filming ratio. I have no idea. I film in a different ratio for the live stream. I film sideways. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. All right, and we have Innova Dragon spammed in the chat and Soup Boy spammed in the chat. And what do you know? It's from my mods. So what am I supposed to have done about that? Doc says, oh, we are alone. I got ideas to take over this channel, of course. Steven says, talk soup. Doc says, Duja, in all GWCQ events, players may only use MVP glitches, axiom pitches, streamline parachutes. Non-player pack discs are acceptable. It's good to know. So it's the specific limitation of MVP stuff. Fun Weird Al song. Doc says, Brad's enjoying the soup too much. We need something new. Lockpick boy? Oh gosh. Hoping for a trilogy challenge near me. That's one thing I really miss out from. Like, I love Charlotte and everything, but Gainesville had the very reliable yearly circuit challenges on my local courses, and I knew the people running the event. Just always was just going to be, I knew it was going to be great. And so finding one in Charlotte, it's going to be like, all right, what course is it going to be at? It's probably going to be a crappy course. I don't know. It's not as fun. Tegan says, Innova Dragon. All right. Jumping on the Innova Dragon train. Anyone near Hickory, please host one. Ed J says, yo, what's up, brother? Appreciate you hopping on and joining us, man. It's going good. Had the disc giveaway, and Mindy Owens ended up winning the Raider. Congrats to Zach, who's going to be very excited, I think, to get the disc. Doc says, wow, why it's got to be crappy. North Carolina rocks. Yes, it does. But for a circuit challenge event, they'll probably choose like Nevin or something. It's going to be terrible. Garrett says, anybody know any 5-3? I can't. Any 3 to 5 speed glide, 0 to beaded mid ranges. Wow. Let's see. 5 speed, 0 to beaded mid ranges. I mean, it sounds like the Bel Air. Oh gosh, do I have it? Where do I have the Bel Air? Is it off screen? Nope, that's just the champ. Bel Air. Beaded. I believe it's a 5402. Bel Air. Boom. I think I just fixed all of your problems. Although I will say, fly is kind of flippy. Like a 0-0, in my opinion. Maybe a 0-1. I believe when I did the prototype round, where I kind of did a half disc review, I think I said that I thought the flight numbers were off. Is this a 5-4? The flight numbers are torn off, and I just have the 402. So I'm assuming it's a 5. But I can't see. Maybe it's a 4402. I can see that being possible. I don't think so, though, because the zone's a 4-speed. Garrett says, does it come in champ plastic or something more overstable? Specifically for the champ, I don't think so. I'm not sure that I would recommend it specifically. Dude just says, tempo is good, 4 glide, though, and maybe not beaded. Still a good 2 fade approach. The taco, that's beaded. I think it's in my bag, and I should know that, but taco, that's actually overstable. The champ, not overstable. Taco is overstable. Flies fantastic for me. Got a hole in one yesterday with a Proton Tesla. Heck yeah, Ed, that's how it's done. EMAC Truth Microbead. And there's Todd with the EMAC Truth, of course. Yeah, I would say taco. I would say taco. Rock 3, but I think it's a 0-3. Interesting. Todd with another explosion emoji, trying to safely drive his way to the course. Steven says, just started throwing the truth in Proto Supreme plastic. Goes really far. There you go. I have a truth in this plastic right here. Whatever this is. This one's my Tursus or my Truth? Truth. Oh, look, it's an EMAC Truth. What do you know? EMAC Truth. We've been talking about it all this time, and I didn't even know that I had one. It's a good disc. Good stability. I would say the Taco is even more overstable. And I have ace with the Taco. I have only chained out with Truth. The new Simon Line Balance, yeah. I have only thrown... Has everything behind me so far. The off balance, the original from the gyro box. But yeah, pretty overstable. More overstable, I would say, than the Taco. Justice is also pretty overstable, but I don't know if that's a 5-speed. This might be a 6-speed, question mark. The Meridian, oh shoot. Ravine, the Meridian Current. No, the Meridian Ravine. It's pretty solidly overstable. Has that great, like, it's essentially the Jawbreaker Z-Flex plastic. It's another good shout. Glacier, not beaded, but similar. MD3, that's got the bead on it. That's got to be a 0-2. Tempo, I don't know if you'd call that a bead. Probably wouldn't call that a bead, but something similar. There we go. Just went down the line. Thumbs up. Paul Taylor, how did you decide on your mold plastic weight of putter? Good question. So I basically just grabbed a 173 gram Warden Classic and used it for like a year. And it was fantastic. But eventually I could just kind of tell it was a tiny bit light. It didn't handle the wind as much as I wanted it to. So at some point I was like, this is just a little lightweight. So I want a 176 gram and I got a prime plastic one. Somebody gave me, this was kind of lucky for me. A friend said, a Warden, you put with Wardens? I have Wardens. So he gave me a classic, a hybrid, a lucid, and maybe even a prime. And I putted with the lucid, hated it. That didn't take long. Putted with the hybrid, and I was like, I like it, but it would be hard to get a bunch of these. And I grabbed the prime, and I said, oh, you know what? This is great. And I can buy like 3 of these right now. So I got 3 primes, and I've never looked back. Wardens too. Warden was, I just used one and I loved it. Fell in love very quickly. Dude just says, by trying many different ones. I was fortunate. The Warden was the first it was the first putter I bought. I had a couple given to me, probably in AVR. And then I was like, they're fine. But then I bought the Warden and started using it. And I was like, oh, this is great. And I've never looked back. So I think I got very fortunate just kind of picking a disc and being like, I love this. Todd says, parents' house for family dinner. Look at that. That family, man. Live from the parents' house. What are the entrees? Dude just says, be sure to get a V2 or a V3 one for the Simon Line Balance, I'm assuming. Steven said that's lucid plastic. There's a definite difference between Supreme and lucid in terms of flights. Yes. Dude just says, have you ever thrown a proxy? Because I think you said you don't have one. I have not thrown a proxy. I do not have one. I need to throw one. I have heard that the balance is similar to the proxy, but the V2 balance is similar to the proxy. That's what I've heard. XL Canto. Try it, love it, live it. Never thrown a Canto. Meridian plastic looks gorgeous. Yes. The only downside is they only have like 3 discs. The Ravine, the Current, and the Blaze is going to get on me for this. I forgot it again. And I literally like can't read it. This one. Tundra. It's a Tundra. I remembered. It popped into my head. Yeah, they only have like 3 discs. So that's a downside of Meridian is they have the Current and the Ravine and the Tundra. And I think that's it. And that's driver mid-range putter. So at least they have the basics covered. Tatsu's MD3 I think is a 0-1. It's good to know. Good to know. 5502. Tatsu's will do. Yeah, tell your parents that I said hi. That Birdie Time Disc Golf says hi, Todd's parents. I hope that you have a great meal together. Garrett says, thanks you guys have given me so much to consider. Hope it helps a little bit. Hope it helps. Dude just says, use my pixel more today and it feels a bit better. Useful for C2. There you go. There you go. I just found a pixel yesterday, totally unmarked. Nobody on the course claimed it. So I'm like, how do I return like a single pixel to somebody? I don't know. It's nothing special. It's just a pixel. Ed says the new particle glow hex is quite overstable. There you go. Paul gave me a thumbs up, so I did good. Okay. Doc says premium wardens work for me because I think of my hands being so callous because I'm old. I think they work for throwing. I don't think they work for putting for me. Dude just says AVRs suck. There you go. Does not like the AVR. Todd says let the entree be soup. Todd says love my Glow Champ AVR 3. Doc is surprised that Dude is not an AVR fan. And Dude just doesn't like the shape. There you go. Another sworn enemy. The war will be on if Todd doesn't like hexes or proxies. That's it. That's it. Voice inside my head says, isn't the proxy a putter? Did you mean the pyro being like the balance? Oh, maybe it was pyro. Hold on. I think you're right. I love that I get this like 3 minutes after I say it. Yeah, proxy is 3.3 negative 1.5. I think I maybe have thrown a proxy. I'm thinking of the pyro being like the balance. You're absolutely correct about that. Thank you for the correction. Carlitos has ever thought about doing a collab with Tupperware? I don't think that Tupperware would particularly care about disc golf discs, but I imagine that they at least care that I'm throwing plastic around, but I don't think that they necessarily have any overlap. Also, I just dropped it right on the ground. These are like all of the lost lids you'll never find again from the round Tupperware containers. That you have 8 of those containers and 2 lids. And you're like, where did all the lids go? I don't understand where the lids could go. Doc says, just hope Duja never becomes vice president and invents the internet. I'm not worried about him doing that. Not Al Gore in disguise. Remember to evade your taxes. Thank you, Pro Tax Evader. Appreciate the inspiration. Don't evade your taxes. It does not go well. I assume. Sunchips for the win says, sup, Brad? And shout out Sunchips for the Red Echo. Has been money in the bag and doing the work for me. Almost aced with it again. It's just been like wild. And I'm about to drop another video from a few weeks ago where I hit a tree halfway down the fairway and this sucker kicks up and swings out and then almost hits the chains just from like hitting a tree halfway down the fairway. It just knows how to kick itself toward the chains. Hendo Jr. Brad doesn't even throw putters. He has to throw his drivers on 200-foot holes. Says the guy who's never beaten me on my channel. Oof. Let's see. Hendo Jr. doesn't throw putters. Do you remember the time that I beat you with a Mirage, or a DX 142-gram Rolo, and a DX 150-gram Mamba? Because I remember it very clearly. And that Mirage was hilarious. Sunchip says, in break, it seems in 5 minutes. Steven says, particle watts will also be in the circuit challenge. Oh, there you go. There you go. Doc says, shots fired, Hendo Jr. Don't worry. I'm not worried about any shooting from Hendo Jr. I've seen his shooting. I think I'm safe as long as I'm near the basket. Although he did almost ace on our ace run video multiple times and was beating me easily in that video until we got to the last hole and I started throwing wardens. And then it turns out I can hit metal. Dude just says discovered new favorite emoji. I can't even see that. It looks like it's a broken emoji. Doc says, ooh, Tupperware and Trash Panda could be interesting. Doc would collab for some clear discs. That's true. Doc says, Brad, evading your taxes does go well. Never seen the ads where people owe 100,000 but only paid $5 in a candy bar thanks to tax helpers. Hendo Jr. says, I didn't consent to this content. Hendo Jr. brought the discs. He brings the discs and says, you want to film a video? I'm like, sure. Dude just says you don't get a massive debt from that. That's true, I guess. That's true. Hendo Jr. threw up a nice tournament round. Was that today or was that yesterday? And here we go. You missed my turn this weekend. Shot 947 rated round 1, then a whopping 785 in round 2. Oh, no. I didn't want it to hurt my rating. There you go. That's how you do it. If it's going to be bad, make it drop off your rating entirely. I wasn't trying to mess with you. I actually only saw your first round. I saw your Facebook story with your 947 round, and I was like, hey, heck yeah, that's how it's done. 785. Started ace running. Oh, man. Sun chips for the win. Back to work. Hey, thanks for jumping on your break, man. Really appreciate you stopping by. Such a legend. Just sending me the best discs ever that go straight in my bag. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are not candy bars. So Reese's Peanut Butter Cups count as a candy bar if they come in the sleeve with 2 of them, and they're the larger, flatter peanut butter cups. That counts as a candy bar. But if they come in a bag, they don't count as a candy bar. So context matters. Context is everything. Doc says, dude just says, speaking of which, what's everyone's favorite candy bar? Doc says, Payday. I would say Butterfingers growing up. I liked Butterfingers quite a bit. Now, I'm not sure if I have a better answer. Reese's Fast Break. I love a fast break. I don't know what it is. So good. So good. I might have to do a poll next week. Reese's Fast Break easily circumvents the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups limitation either way. Hendo Jr. threw OB 3 times in the first 5 holes. Ouch. It's okay. With Justin Rozak on the card, I had to re-tee 3 times in a row because I couldn't throw the disc in bounds from the out-of-bounds tee. And then 8 strokes behind the leader, had to make a business decision. And the business decision being run the ace and take the bad rating so it drops off your rating. Steven says correct. Doc says, I like Butterfingers, but man, they hate my teeth. Part of the reason they're not number 1 anymore. Agreed. And part of the reason why Reese's Fast Breaks skyrocket to the top, because those are so good, and they don't get stuck in your teeth. They're not like this horribly like sticky food. Just so good. Steven says, I'm partial to 100 grand. I do like the 100 grands. They're quite good. Voice inside my head says, whatchamacallit? Not sure what you're trying to name. Just kidding. Butterfingers are so messy. Yeah. Paul says, Kit Kat. Kit Kats are good. I'll be controversial. I enjoy eating Kit Kats incorrectly for the fun of it. Just for the chaos. It's just that moment where you bite in, you're like, it's not supposed to be like this. And you're just like, yeah, I'm in control. It's a great moment. It's a feeling of true power. Eating a Kit Kat incorrectly. Just bite across all 4 of them. Does not get much better. Steven also loves Snickers. Snickers are good. Fat breaks are too rich. Interesting. Butterfingers are terrible for your teeth in so many ways. True. Just plain Hershey's. If you're going to go Hershey's, actually have some good chocolate. Treat yourself well. Get a Ghirardelli's. Get yourself a Lindt chocolate bar. Get yourself a Dove Dark chocolate bar. Do something that actually shows your body that you love it. Don't give yourself a Hershey's bar. It's just basic white girl. Like, don't go for the pumpkin spice latte. Get a coffee that you actually will enjoy. Hendo says 9 birdies in round 1, then waited until hole 18 to get my only birdie of round 2. Wow, you went in with a plan for round 2. Whew. Dude just says, has anyone heard of a flake bar? I have not heard of a flake bar. Dreamy consistency. Doc says candy bar versus Slim Jim versus beef jerky. What a weird juxtaposition. I mean, Slim Jim versus beef jerky is fair, but I don't know how candy bars gets in there. Hendo says Snickers greater than Reese's. I like them both. I would lean ever so slightly toward Reese's, but I get the love for the Snickers. But when you hit up the fast break, it jumps up to the top for me. Doc says, what is your round favorite? Dude just says, depends on the mood. And Doc says, also the weather. Summer candy bars are no, unless you got a cooler. Yes, I always go cooler. I leave it in the car, and it's normally granola bars. But whenever I do have like a candy bar or something like that, I throw the ice packs in the cooler and probably an extra water or Gatorade or something. That's a nice post round. Cold candy bar after the heat. Oh, that's pretty good. That's something nice. But even so, just a granola bar, some nice cold water. That's how it's done. That is how it's done. Todd says that I'm a heathen, I assume, for the Kit Kat chaos. And also loves pumpkin spice. Not in front of the children. Eating Kit Kats incorrectly is the correct way. Yes, it is. It's the way to go. The old Kit Kat said waffles. Surprised Brad isn't a McBeast bar guy. So I don't know about McBeast, but I did eat the like Feastables candy bars for the first time because Nolan with Chain Reactions was given a bunch of the Feastables boxes of candy bars and was just giving them out for free. So I had like one of each, and I kind of like the Reese's ripoff, and then the like plain chocolate was actually good. The Rice Krispie one, like the Crunch Bar ripoff, not so good. Dude just says you're being brainwashed if you think you're mandated to break off a Kit Kat. Yes. It's all in the subliminal messaging and even the overt messaging. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. I mean, seriously, they are priming you for missing out on the pure joy of just enjoying the chaos of a Kit Kat bar on your own terms. Don't let them take that away from you. Aiden says, yeah, guys, don't smoke crack. Eat a Cadbury. That's better. That is better. Just have Cadbury. Crack is whack, Jack. Just say no. If we're going to mention Slim Jims, what do you think of Double G jerky? Expensive, but quite good. Quite good. My problem is I've had homemade jerky, so it's hard to go like any type of produced jerky is kind of like just okay, but it's good. Double G jerky is good, just expensive. Just expensive. Doc says like it, but not sure about the price, especially in shipping. Yep. Aaron says your beard and mustache combo is exquisite. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. It works. It works. Todd says trying to eat pork, but Slim Jims are excellent. Yes, dude, that's Garrett Gerthy's brand. And yes, it's good. Yes, it is. It's tasty. All the spicy stuff is way too spicy. Dude just says Feastables bars are terrible. I thought they would taste worse than they did. I was pleasantly surprised by the taste of the peanut butter. I was like, it's actually pretty good. But I don't prioritize them if they were not free and I was not scientifically inquisitive about trying the flavors. I would never have ever cared about them. Oh, the other one, the cookies and cream ripoff, was terrible. That was gross. That was like, ugh. I just did not understand what I was doing to myself. But the actual like the Reese's peanut butter cup ripoff and the just the plain milk chocolate, acceptable, enjoyable, but not something I would go buy, not something I'd pay for. When it's handed to me, I say thank you. I will try these. Oh, I kind of liked that. Skittles, M&Ms, Reese's Pieces. That's a great poll. That might be next week. Skittles, M&Ms, Reese's Pieces, or what are the Almond Joys? Or the is that the am I thinking of almond? What am I thinking of? Those little pieces. Yeah, Almond Joy pieces. Yeah. Got to throw those in there. Just mix them all in the same bowl and see what happens. Reese's Pieces are the best, no competition. They're quite good. Steven only got them at one of the tents at the Pro Tour Championship. Didn't realize they were killing you with shipping. Enjoyed it though. Yeah. It's not Garrett's fault, I would say. Like he produces a high quality product, and so it should be somewhat expensive to buy it. But when it's like a 4 to 7 ounce package and you've got to pay $4 to ship it, it's like, dang, that gets pricey. But if you can just get it in a tournament, the cost isn't so bad, or at a table at an event, or from Garrett, cost isn't as bad. That's a lot more reasonable. But yeah, shipping gets expensive for sure. But it's good. Uh, Doc says homemade beef jerky where they use the premium beef or venison. Homemade jerky, that sounds like heaven. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Sixlets. Ooh, sixlets are pretty good. They're pretty good. Doc says, LOL, bread wanting to try different foods is my love of trying different discs. It's scientific. You have to compare them. Endo Jr. says, when are you traveling down to Florida again to play? I'm 15 minutes from the beach. Could be a nice vacation. Ooh, tempting me with a pretty fun time. Great question. My problem is I'm planning to travel to Michigan for US AMs. I'm hoping to get to Missouri or Mississippi, wherever Am Worlds is. And then I'm playing Charlotte Amateur Championship in Charlotte and US Amateur Doubles in Rock Hill. So not all of those are a lot of traveling, but I do have those like traveling expenses, travel time, etc. But I do have Chainhawk Open on the list. So that I'm 100% planning on getting to Gainesville. Otherwise, Florida, I'm not certain about my schedule, but it's possible that between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I could do a little bit more of Florida travel and experience. That's on the table. But yeah, I don't think I can prioritize Florida before fall. Yeah, that's where I am at the moment. Doc's favorite candy is jelly nuggets. I don't even know what those are. Something from the 40s, I'm guessing. Steven says, love peanut and peanut butter M&Ms. Peanut butter M&Ms are really good. Really good. Dude just said, didn't know Almond Joy pieces existed. I knew they existed and I didn't care about them, and I don't like them. Martello waves and says, Frisbee, love Frisbee. Got ourselves. I mean, I love Frisbee too, and I grabbed a Brave again. I'm getting good at that. But of course, the difference between an Ultimate Frisbee and a disc golf disc, they're definitely designed a little bit differently. I played a lot of Ultimate Frisbee in high school and college, including a little bit of time on my college club team, intramural, stuff like that. But after college, found disc golf and have never looked back. Just enjoy throwing discs and competing out on the disc golf course so much. Nope. Yep, that's where it goes. But appreciate the Frisbee love as well, Martello. Whether you go Ultimate Frisbee, disc golf, or just throw a Frisbee or a ringed disc around in the yard, it's a lot of fun. Made it to 9. Look at me. I'm not exhausted quite yet. Frisbee collector. Yeah, I do have a lot of disc golf discs. I do have a lot of discs. Doc says, Brad, my palate is like most disc golfers. I keep to a particular set. Yeah, I lean that way. It depends on, let me put it this way. If I'm spending money on it, I'm pretty much leaning toward what I'm familiar with and I know I'm either going to like or be okay with. If it's somebody else's treating or a circumstance like that, I'm like, oh, I'm going to try something new. I'm going to see if I like this. I'm going to try chocolate raspberry ice cream. Turns out it's pretty good, although I like chocolate peanut butter even more. But it's like, yeah, all right, let's give something new a try. But if I'm putting the money down, I need to spend it on something I know I'm going to enjoy. I don't like spending money and being disappointed, which is why I don't always play MPO. Food palette. Steven said his amateur world's at Eagles Crossing. So I think that one of the age protected amateur world but I don't think it's us. I don't think that it's MA1 US amateurs. I think it's like amateur masters. That's at Eagles Crossing. We're somewhere else. Dude, it says seeing Bodanza throwing the cap wrap. I'm glowing because I don't think it'd have a place in my bag. Yeah, it just depends on what you need it for. I like the Z Flex cap wrap I have in the bag because I need to hit a line and get big skips sometimes, and I need a forehand disc that I know will fight out of a flex, but I don't throw it very often. Just certain circumstances, certain courses. It's useful. It's a utility disc. Dude just says, think of my nighttime dreams of being on the tee at a tournament has increased as of late. All right. Which is interesting. Getting ready, working on back end form in your sleep. Oh gosh. Yeah, you got to prep for that tournament mentally. I mean, I used to go to sleep thinking about my soccer game that I had the next day after school, and I would occasionally dream of that soccer game and what might happen, and of course, me scoring a goal or something like that was always part of the dream. But I mean, you get that on your mind, the more that you are looking forward to something and being kind of ready to accept being in that situation can really help confidence. Like, I think there really is a lot of, I don't think that this idea of manifesting is a thing, but I think to a sense, to an extent, there is getting yourself into the mindset so that when you're in a similar circumstance, you've already been thinking about this and you're already ready for it. So I think there is something to be like preparing your body and mind for something in advance. But I think that's quite different than like thinking about something and it's now more likely to happen. It's ridiculous. Doc says, trying something new to eat. Why are you trying to give me a panic attack? Doc says, dude, learn to lucid dream, then win those dream matches. Work on the back end form in your sleep. I like that. Doc says, actually pondering on a problem, then sleeping on it has worked for me more than a few times. That's true as well. And, you know, I'll say, like, I was helping lead my Sunday class today, and I was working on the material last night, and I didn't feel 100% like good on it, and I knew I didn't have much time to prepare this morning, but I was like, I'm wrestling with a lot of this. I think I have a lot of it lined up. I'm gonna set it down. I'm gonna go to sleep. And like I woke up in the middle of the night kind of thinking about being in class and answering questions. Fell back asleep, woke up this morning, and I won't say everything was perfect, but like this morning I was like, okay, I feel a lot better about this. Like I feel like it's sunk in. I feel like I'm prepared to respond to questions and give answers and have discussion. I would definitely say that it's helpful to sleep on things. You just don't want it to keep you up. There's a difference between sleeping on something and waking up refreshed and kind of ready and having something stress you out and keep you from sleeping. Have done that myself. Doesn't work. Don't recommend. 2 out of 10. Don't recommend. Steven says, I bet if you beat in your cap rep, you want to throw it a lot more. That's definitely the case with my Felon. I'd say yes and no. It depends on how much like you love it for a utility disc. For me, it's like I don't want to throw my cap rep a ton and I don't want to beat it in because I want the reliability. But for someone else who wants to actually like throw it a lot, I can see that being the case. Dude just says, usually most of my dreams are just me driving, then my brakes break, but not enough, and I run a red light. I feel like I've had that dream. That's so funny. Steven gets that dream too. Doc says, oh, Brad, while on that topic, my nephew, 15 years old, has expressed an issue in building up and working, has expressed an issue in building up and working with the youth in my church. Any good website suggestions? I'm a little bit, I'll have to come back to that question really quick. Ephraim says, hey man, what keeps you motivated in life and in your content? That's a great question. A couple of different things. Having goals that are both attainable and a continual working toward can help with motivation as well, because you can see daily progress without having to get there by like next week. But you know that you are headed in the right direction. That can really help. But also generally in life, my faith is very important to me. So as a Christian, I highly value looking at my own life and saying, am I acting in a humble, godly way? Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing this for me, or am I doing this because it's a good thing that makes the world a better place? And so I lean towards doing good things that make the world a better place. Also, of course, I have to survive. So you can't just like throw yourself away, but it's good to prioritize doing things in a way that is good for other people. It feels good. It's encouraging and refreshing. And I think it's just a much better way of doing things, is to, generally speaking, put others first. You want to meet your own needs, but you want to put the wants of others above your own. And when you do that, I find that you are rewarded by doing that. It's a fulfilling life. Whisper says, what's up, man? What's your favorite disc you've ever had? Very tempted to just say Brave. Brave is fantastic. 7.5 negative. I have Braves everywhere. 7.5 negative 1.2. And it's just that blend of control and distance, under stability, but not too much. But I also love the echo. I love the soul. So it's kind of a tough choice. Usa says, you look like a Minecraft character. Hey, that's twice tonight. I got Steve earlier. Martello says, just bought a Mac Studio, not a Mini. What should I do with it? I have no idea. Are you talking about a Mac Studio? I don't even know what that means. Not a Mini? Am I dumb? Red Raven says, hey man, I'm looking for some unbeatable distance. I throw mostly Innova, but I'm open to other brands. 13 speed, let me know if you have any suggestions. My unbeatable distance disc is the Wild Honey. I went from throwing 290 to 405. First throw with the Wild Honey, 435 to 440 feet, and I hit a picnic table. So I recommend the Wild Honey. Depends on how you throw. If you're throwing like a shrike really well, then I think the Wild Honey is a shrike, but it'll go 30 feet further. That's in my opinion. But it just depends on how you throw. So you're saying Mac Studio like for like a computer? Whisper says get a beat-in beast. Yeah, it just depends on how you throw, but if you're thinking like Innova 13 speeds and you throw the Shrike, I say the Wild Honey is the Shrike with more distance. And dude just says Wild Honey, awesome. Yep. Katanas are nice if you get a flippy one. Destinies are nice. Destiny was my previous furthest throwing disc. Destiny would go just over 400 for me with a great shot. Wild Honey blows it out of the water. But again, that's at the point where I'm throwing 400 with a perfect shot. The Wild Honey beats it by 40 feet. But if you're throwing 300, then the Wild Honey might not be great for you. It just kind of depends. If you throw 450 and you're going for 500, I'm not sure the Wild Honey is necessarily the answer. But I will say my buddy throws 400 fairly easily. I handed him my Wild Honey through one time, and he parked a hole. It wasn't from a tee pad, but he parked a basket 455 feet away, and it was on a hillside. He got no ground play, no skip, just hit the hillside. It goes far. All right. Doc said earlier that his 15-year-old nephew has expressed an issue in building up and working with the youth of the church. Any good website suggestions? Are you talking about, are you saying he's expressed an interest, not an issue? And are you talking about like, uh, oh, here you go. You suggested first work with church to get a summer Bible camp going, usually get 2 kids, match mostly older people. Honestly, don't know if we'll keep at it, but I want to encourage him. So you're saying he's hoping to get a youth group started, like you don't have a youth group? I'm just curious about exactly what you mean. Building up and working with the youth. Okay, so it sounds like you're saying he's expressed interest in kind of creating a youth program. Any good website suggestions? Um, so I would say depending on it's tough to it's tough to give website suggestions for creating a youth group when you don't have youth. Um, there's a lot of learning that goes into youth ministry and a lot of stuff that I'm not even the most qualified to speak on. But if you don't have any youth, you've got to work with who you have. So if you only have a handful of students, then you're going to have to directly work with a handful of students. And that's going to be like where the ministry occurs is with that small group. And if it's quality, if it's well done, then if they have a friend visit, the friend's going to enjoy it and they're going to want to stay. And that's going to be probably your best case for building something if you don't have many students. If you're looking for programs that function well and blend volunteer work with curriculum and fun, Venture Club program is kind of fun. It's a fairly good way to go. That's Venture Club, like Adventure, but Venture Club. And they work pretty well, I would say, on a small scale as well. Um, and you can adapt it. You don't have to do like, you don't have to do it in the format where you have a weekly meeting and have students learn verses. You can walk through the book with 2 students, every week. Stuff like that. Man, I don't know. That I feel like that's a massive question. It's a great question, but it's a hard answer to say, I know what will help your situation, because I really don't. But I'll try to get you better answers. Dude just says, down Disc Golf Masters from Steam and play it. Red Raven says, not far enough, about 350 max, so honestly a 10 or 11 might be better. So 10 or 11, easy distance with 10 or 11 speeds. The trail goes pretty far. I would say most people who pick up the trail are like, dang, this bombs. Actually, the Wind Dragon bombed pretty well for me with my first few throws. It's a 14.5 speed, but it is not overstable. At least the fission plastic was not overstable. The Defy might fly really far, depending on the plastic. Mine was pretty stable. I mean, the Shrike bombs. There's a lot of good potential ones. Eric says, who won the giveaway? I had to step away. The winner of the giveaway was Mindy Owens, aka Zach, won the giveaway. And I'm pretty excited for him. I think he's going to be very, very happy to have this disc. He's going to be pretty excited. Mart says, PS5 for gaming. I have the Series X myself for gaming. Speaking of gaming, shout out to myself. I have recently launched my Birdietime gaming channel. I'm doing an Oblivion playthrough, really enjoying it. And I've done a little bit of filming of another game demo for a game that's dropping called Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon, which looks pretty great. I'm not sure if I can stream it because Oblivion is already a little bit like gross, dark fantasy. I think Tainted Grail pushes it even further, so I'm not sure about streaming it, but I might stream it. But I'm going to be dropping some videos soon. So Birdietime Gaming, I'm starting to build that channel. I'm starting to build content, and I'll be streaming my Oblivion playthrough every Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m. EST. And then I'm planning to play on some Fridays as well and do some streaming. So catch me over there. All right. Congrats, Mindy. Yes. DG Masters is PC only. Yeah, you got to play it on Steam. Doc says DD Sheriff 13 speed is his suggestion. Good suggestion. No groove suggestions. Disappointed in all of us. They throw 3 times you, Doc. Different circumstances. Mart says, I heard disc golf tournaments are pretty wild. Lots of groupies and unprotected activities. I have never had a wild disc golf tournament. The closest would be like an unsanctioned event where people are smoking weed, drinking, and doing maybe even more questionable things. But no, PDJ sanctioned events do not allow alcohol or drugs or smoking of any kind. So any sanctioned tournament, if somebody's drinking, they're ejected, they're kicked out of the tournament for drinking alcohol. You can't drink during a sanctioned event. So they've definitely tightened that up. You go to league, 180 degrees in the opposite direction, depending on your local league. Doc says, okay, Brad, you were kind of on that subject when I asked. No worries. All good, all good, all good. Ryan says, hot dogs. I'm thinking hot dogs, yeah or nay? I'm a taco burger person myself over hot dog. Dude, just to throw out DG Youth Group lessons sign up. Got a nice putt-putt disc golf course nearby. I mean, that's the way to go. Todd says, live from the dinner table, we've got Grandma's special recipe burgers, finely diced black olives and barbecue sauce. Okay. Hey, I like that live update from the dinner table. And shout out to Grandma. What a legend. What a legend for cooking up some good food. Doc says, dude, it was kind of out of right field for him. Surprised and kind of laughed it off. I thought he was joking. Now I feel bad. Oh, gotcha. Fall of Avalon, is that about Avalon from King Arthur Legends? Yes. So Fall of Avalon, basically, the idea is there's this kind of plague and general like malady over the land of Avalon 600 years after King Arthur has died. And there's this kind of unknown to the player of exactly what's going on. Is it because King Arthur keeps trying to like come back and fix things, it's making it worse? Or does he need to come back and like fix things to make things better? And you get to kind of be in the middle of that in this kind of corrupted world and try to figure out how to fix things or just how to survive. So it sounds like a very Arthur-centric Skyrim, basically. And the demo that I played, I fully experienced the demo, which you could do in 15 minutes if you really wanted to, just speed your way out of the dungeon. I explored the whole dungeon. I picked up everything I could. I made all the potions I could. I cooked the food that I could. I read every book. I read every note. I killed every enemy in the dungeon. I explored everything. Found a couple of like hidden areas. Got all the gear that I could, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and really, really enjoyed it. I got out to the beach. I picked up a shovel in the mine, got out to the beach, and I found a spot I could dig and pull up like a sunken chest sort of thing with some loot in it. Like, it's just like very enjoyable. It feels like Skyrim, but the combat feels more hard hitting and actual like there's good combat feedback. Anyway, really good game. Dude just says, disappointed when I saw DG Masters was PC only. Yep, just Steam. Avalon was such a thing for me as a kid, then Mists of Avalon. Yeah. I mean, I read a lot of different King Arthur books, from very realistic, almost historical style readings to, just fun fantasy books, the whole gamut. And they're great. It's a great subject. It's a great era to kind of talk about. And I've read books on Merlin. I watched Merlin. Great stuff. Game looks fantastic, but it looks a little dark. Looks a little violent, gross, gory. It's not like Bethesda skeletons that you walk into a Fallout gas station and some skeletons on the toilet reading a newspaper. It's like in a dungeon and bloody skeletons chained up with knives, and it's. I'm curious about streaming it. I'm not sure if I've decided yet, but I will have at least videos on the channel. Can't taste the olives with the juiciness. Sounds good. More of a texture thing. Yeah, yeah. If you get like I don't hate olives, but when I get Subway, if I put olives on it, I'm like, oh, and then I feel like I don't know, oily on the inside afterward. But the taste of olives mixed in is fine. All right, now Todd's throwing up brain rot, and I'm not even sure if I could read it. I don't even understand. Doc says, yeah, Brad, no offense. You got a family friendly face. Maybe you should do family friendly games. Yeah, dude just says family friendly face. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's my desire that anybody can watch, but I don't want to only do like E-rated games at the same time. Like, I'm playing Oblivion. That's certainly not an E-rated game. So I want to hit a good balance where I don't feel bad if particularly if teenagers are watching. I don't want to be like, I'm throwing this content in front of a teenager and it's too much. Like even Oblivion, a couple of like after I went through the Oblivion portal, I was like, oh, like if I've got like a 10-year-old watching this, I don't feel good about that. Uh, I don't feel bad playing it myself because I'm almost 30, but like a 10-year-old, like that's a whole different story. So I'm a little bit torn on it. I'm still planning to keep playing Oblivion, but I'm thinking about putting up like a content warning on the stream, or at least like making it a little more clear. Like, hey, by the way, the game I'm playing, it's rated M. Like, here's what it's rated for. Like, heads up, be aware of that. Like, if you're a parent, I want you to know. Like, that's what's going on here. Um, so that's my only concern with Fall of Avalon is like, am I throwing this content up on a screen knowingly, in front of children? Don't want to do that. But I also want to play a game that's going to be really fun and stream it and enjoy it. So there's a balance. Like, I won't ever stream a Witcher game because I know the content that's going to be in the Witcher games. And that's something I am not going to present on stream ever. But with Fall of Avalon, I'm like, it's just violence, that's a different thing. So it's definitely a balance I'm trying to strike. I do like the family friendly face comment though. I think that's pretty great. If you do a law following playthrough of GTA 6, or might that still be too over PG-13? That's a great question as well. GTA 6 has crossed my mind. I'll have to be. I need to know what's going to come across the screen to a certain extent before I want to stream it. So I'll need to do research ahead of time and be aware of what I'm going to encounter in the world. Because if there's something objectionable, I'm going to avoid it. If it's not a huge deal, if it's a little thing, like the pickled person in Oblivion, it's like that's not something that I'm concerned about. But, if we have nudity in the game, like I'm not streaming that. Like that isn't happening. So I'll have to do research and be aware of that. But I think there's potentially a way to play through something like GTA or Red Dead Redemption where yes, there's violence in it, but we're not glorifying like evil. And we're not demonstrating, we're not showing the like sexual assault or something horrible like that. Keeping away from certain areas of the game, um, while still like robbing a bank. Like it's a weird balance to have. Frau Wolf says, "What's the collection behind you? Plates, frisbees, lids." Tox's pie plates. Yes, these are disc golf discs. So I did not grab a Brave that time. So all of these disc golf discs fly a little bit differently, and they're designed to fly further and faster than ultimate frisbee discs. But yes, I played disc golf quite a bit, and I have a fairly decent collection of discs. But yes, I play a lot of disc golf. Our sport was born of the pie plates. Doc says, poll question. Do you, do you run over, oh gosh, do you run over the ladies of the night to get your money back or not? That will never happen. That will not be a poll that I run. That's a great example. There will not be any interactions with a lady of the night, and particularly including injuring them or murdering them to take money back. So, like, that is a great example of something where you have the potential in GTA to do something that is not acceptable to present to children. Like, it's in no world is that okay to put in front of children and be like, hey, like, watch this. Not okay. But as a, American, I'm not upset that people have the freedom to enjoy a video game to a large extent how they want to. It's just a matter of what am I going to present on the stream. So it's a balance. It's a balance. Dude says the production crew just hearted my Superboy comment on the second round coverage. Oh my gosh. Great. Building the lore of Superboy. Frau says, thanks for answering. No problem. Thanks for asking. Dude corrects Doc's usage of the word your and says, sorry, Doc, my mother's an English teacher. It's in my blood. Production team replied, he's very creative. Oh my word. Oh my word. It's catching on. That I will say they were very kind to me, particularly because I was struggling. I dropped from second to sixth. Not to spoil it, but it happened like 6 months ago. But they were always kind of encouraging about my attitude and the fact that I was throwing pretty well. And if I had made my 3-circle 1 putts, I would have taken second place. Would have been awesome. Didn't happen. Not a big deal. Honestly, I might have been tempted to take the $600 and go MPO fully, and I'd be missing out on the U.S. Amateurs tournament coming up. So it might be kind of disappointing at this point in my life. But anyway, I thought they did a good job on commentary of speaking well of me and correctly evaluating my mistakes and saying, like, that's not a putt that you should miss. And I'm like, I agree. I don't feel like they were insulting me. They were just like, oh, man, you can't miss those putts. And then I would do something good, and they'd be like, what? There's Brad getting another birdie. All right, he's getting some momentum. Like, I thought it was pretty fun. So I think they did a good job. Them calling me creative is just icing on the cake. They did a good job of shouting out the channel as well. Doc says, dude, rest of the episode, we just argue over the Oxford comma. As he says he instead of thee. Dude says, sure, sounds like a tiresome time. Oh, man. 9:30 already. Okay, I did make it 3 hours. I don't know if I've got too much left in me. So 3-hour stream sounds about right. Maybe 3:10. I'll give you guys 15 more minutes. And then I'm pretty tired. I did stay up a little bit late working on my discussion questions for class today. So I was doing some research, some reading. Unfortunately, some of my research led me to Reddit, which was just a mistake in general to go on Reddit. There are some great subreddits, but unfortunately I was not in any of those. So it was just a bunch of angry people. Not as much information as I was looking for. But anyway, stayed up late doing some research and preparing. Anyway, I'm tired. I got another 15 minutes. Dude just says, life goal is to be on a recorded, commentated disc golf round. I think that's a great life goal, and I think that you will 100% achieve it. That was a goal I did not think was super realistic for me, and I was literally planning on that being a goal for 2025, and then it just happened at the end of 2024, and I was just blown away by it. It was a huge blessing. It was incredible, but it can kind of just happen to you out of nowhere. So I think that's a goal. It's a very good goal, and I think you'll achieve that goal. Yeah. I think you'll develop into a player who will have no problem getting yourself into a position to have a good chance of getting coverage. Doc says, I've seen some very angry arguments over it. It's true. People get mad about everything. Dude just says, stay away from Reddit. 100% advice. Stay away from Reddit. Dude, they would just end up being tournament review video for me at that point. Yeah. It's nice. It's nice. You get to look through it. You get to say, yep, that's a mistake. Hey, that one was good. Yeah. Unfortunately, I got to review all of my mistakes, which was like 12 holes straight. And then finally 6 holes that I played well at the end. Not to spoil it. I'm guessing that we have some discussion of cricket going on with Lewis here. And I'm very interested, but I don't understand it. Eric says, oh, we got spoilers. Spoiler alert from Eric. Spoiler alert. Somebody won. It isn't like a major or anything, so I'm not upset. So don't worry. Not upset. I actually haven't been following. We have a hi. I'm Hake. Thanks for hopping on joining us, Hake. Appreciate you being here. Oh my gosh. Hake says, I have a question for you. As long as it's appropriate, I'll answer it. Go ahead. He just says, dang, Eric, it's fine. I'll forget about it in 20 minutes. That's right. Just let it smooth brain like fall out of your mind. It's all good. Okay, very interesting question from Armenia. Do you think that a father should take his 5-year-old daughter to the men's or women's restroom, and why do you think so? So that's a really tough question. I would say I tend toward in a situation with a young enough child, if they're not old enough to go into a public bathroom by themselves, then they should accompany their parent, and that's appropriate, I would say. Now, it's the parents' concern to protect them, from any grossness in that restroom. But I would say probably for most children by 6, it's about the time where you can kind of trust them standing right outside to go in and use a bathroom. But of course, there can be concern with that. So I don't blame a parent who has a 5-year-old for saying, I don't feel safe letting my 5-year-old go unaccompanied into a bathroom, so they're going to join me. I remember not like any particular things, but I remember that I went into a ladies' bathroom with my grandma at some point, and I was probably 4 or 5, and like I understood that it wasn't where I was supposed to be going for the bathroom, but it was like I had to accompany my grandma. So like I understand. Like, yeah, I think I understand. But I'm not, of course, taking a legal position. I'm just saying, yeah, go to a family one when available. That's for sure true. But yes, I don't blame a person, a parent who is by themselves for not sending a child into a bathroom without them if they have any concerns. Don't blame them. I do like family bathrooms, like the additional bathroom, family friendly restrooms. Those are a good thing. Yeah. Rough late night question. Yeah. Yeah, well, it's valid. I mean, it's kind of hard because it's easy to judge and be like, oh, you should do it this way, you should do it that way. But if you get into a situation where someone's sending in their 5-year-old to a bathroom and a 16-year-old boy like shoves that kid and like breaks their arm or something like that, you never know what can happen. Like terrible things can happen to children if you're not supervising them. They can get themselves into trouble. So I don't blame a parent for being like, okay, if she's 3 years old, she can't go alone. What can father do? Yeah. Well, I would say the father should take the child into the men's bathroom and help her go to the bathroom. Like, you should be able to have enough space in a stall. So yeah, I would say it's appropriate for a father to take a 3-year-old girl or his child into the men's room um, to have her use the bathroom. I think that's totally appropriate. You have stall doors. Like, I think that's totally acceptable. Due to degrees, father takes her to men's, mom would take her to women's, obviously. And a mom would take a young boy into the women's bathroom as well. Yep. Yep, I think that's totally appropriate. Why can't he go into the women's bathroom with the child? Because there's quite a big difference between an adult male going to a women's bathroom and a boy, like a 5-year-old boy, going to a women's bathroom. Safety. All right, couple minutes left on the stream, and we are wrapping things up. Couple minutes left. Congrats again to Mindy for winning the Raider in the disc giveaway. I am getting pretty tired. Any last disc golf questions? Yep, way to go, Mindy. It's a good win. Dude just says, anyway, what disc would be the most likely to be found at a Walmart first? I think you'll probably find the AVR, but I did see like a Paul Macbeth set in a Walmart. I'm trying to think if it was just a Luna or what that was. Chura says, can you please give me Texas? Texas is huge, man, and they don't give up easily. So I'm sorry. If you want Texas, you're gonna have to fight for it. And good luck. Good luck. Matanj says hi. Thanks for hopping on and joining us. Doc says Dynamic Discs worked with Walmart for a while, so maybe Dynamic would be in there. Maybe a Judge. Chura says, haha, don't believe it. Oh, man. A, everything's bigger in Texas. B, Texas is bigger than almost every European country. And C, Texan people love their self-defense. They love their guns. They love their weaponry. They love their trucks. They will not go down easy. Good luck. Mintash with a 9.82 million subs. Are you kidding? That's unreal. That is unreal. I like that I hit a couple thousand. I thought I was pretty good. Doc says most ended up in the discount aisle. Super cheap. Interesting. You just saw some Lucid Dynamic discs. Interesting, interesting. Walmart no longer sells Dynamic, huh? Doc says, Steven, problem with that question is, do you mean Walmart online or brick and mortar? Well, that's fair enough. Sometimes Walmart does trials at certain stores. You guys know everything about Walmart. Churros says, I don't understand anything but yes. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Fair enough. Dude says, not even joking. Check his channel. He said hi. Yeah. Let me hop over here. Good night. 9.81 million subscribers. Unreal. Unreal. Okay. I feel good when one of my YouTube shorts gets around 20,000 views. I'm like, doing pretty great. Here's a 434 million view YouTube short. No jealousy. Congrats, man. That's awesome. Congrats. That's longevity and effort creating success right there. That is well done. Walmart is an American staple. True. Steven says, I know they used to tell them in the store, or used to sell them in the stores. Not sure if they still do because I haven't been to one in quite a while. I had this thing where like I should be more curious, but like when I'm in Walmart, I don't even think about looking at disc golf section because I'm like, it's gonna be trash. But I should go and see. I should see what they have just out of pure curiosity. But now I haven't been in a Walmart. Well, I guess I was lately. I just do most of my like grocery shopping and stuff at Aldi or Lidl, which is basically like an alternate universe Aldi. It's kind of creepy. Like I feel like I walked into an Aldi, but everything's just a little bit wrong. Which is funny because going into Aldi is like going into a grocery store and being like, everything's just a little bit wrong. They had Innova, they had Valkyries. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, good for Walmart for selling some. That's good. Starter sets with Ricky for $10 on clearance. Is that just because it's dynamic, or is that because Ricky left and they're like, well, we can't legally like sell this for full price? I don't even know. Just curious. As says, you are. I don't know if I can read that. Hoot. I'll say hoot. They just said I've seen pics of rows of buzzsaws and premium Lat 64s at a Dunham's. Dunham's can have that like Dunham's can just show up and have that like high quality product out of nowhere and you're like, where did you even get this? And there's like, oh whatever, we just stock it. It's sometimes a shock. Like you go to this little probably their pickleball section is like top of the line as well. And yeah, you go to their disc golf section and you're like, these are awesome. So Casey, these are disc golf discs. I went for a Brave. So this specifically, this is a brain fart. I think this is a Sheriff. So each of these disc golf discs are designed to fly a little bit differently when you throw them. And opposed to a frisbee, which is more blunt and rounded and meant for playing catch, a disc golf disc is meant for distance and speed. So playing disc golf, you're aiming at your target, the disc golf basket. You want to get there in as few throws as possible. Drivers are meant for distance. Mid-ranges are a blend of distance and control. And putters tend to be what you use to throw short shots or make it into the basket for your final throw, for your putt. So I have about 20 discs that go in my disc golf bag that I take on the course with me because I never know exactly what disc I need. But on the shelf, I have about 250 extra discs in case I need them or to give them to someone or let someone borrow it. Just to have a bit of a collection. Ace Hardware has been selling discs. I have seen a few at Ace Hardware. According to Brody, the manufacturer can't sell player discs once they leave. The retail stores can. Interesting. Casey says cool. Also, the dragon is winning. Oh, I haven't checked the poll in so long. That is hilarious, though. That is hilarious. Is there a course near the store? That would make sense. That's fair. All right, let me check out the poll. 54 votes. Innova Dragon at a whopping 33%. Proto in second at 26. DD2 at 24. And Pipeline only at 17. Wow. Like the absolute inverse of what I expected. Doc says, well, it's a dragon, Dujit. My heart. That's good. That's good. That's good. Just not what Dujit's looking for right now. It is hilarious because I was making the poll and my computer was freezing and having issues, but I glimpsed Dujit say, just add the Innova Dragon to the poll. So I was like, all right, I'll throw it in the poll. And now, of course, it's winning the poll, which is just hilarious. Just hilarious. May have bribed YouTube. That makes sense. It makes sense that you must have bribed YouTube. That is so funny. That is so funny. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap things up. Congrats again to Mindy, to Zach for winning that disc. He wants me to sign it, so I will get it signed. And heck yeah. I don't have a timeline for the next disc golf giveaway, but I do have, I'll gently spoil it. I have someone sending me some discs, and I'm hoping to open them on stream, and I'm hoping to pick one as a giveaway. So I'm not gonna like guarantee that, but I do have giveaway discs still stocked up. I have this is not a giveaway disc. I also have merge credit with chain reactions, so I don't have any limit to like doing more giveaways. So giveaways will happen. If I don't have anything to celebrate, I'll just do a giveaway just because. So I'm hoping like a monthly giveaway of a disc. If I do like 2, 3, 4 discs, I might wait a couple months and do them all at once, but they're gonna happen. The Dragon Classic feels great. There are a few of us. Good night, Steven. Thanks for joining us for so long tonight. Really appreciate you hanging out. Some may think is the Eagle disc. Dude, I'm so happy for you. 4 days till summer. Have a great rest of the week and be ready to hit the course, man. Congrats. I hope you really live it up and enjoy the summer and get really good at disc golf. I do have the Dragon, but I'm not giving it away. I wouldn't give it away unless I gave it to Doc directly. If he gives away dragons, I'll give mine to Doc if I win. You guys colluding on winning giveaways. It cracks me up. All right, guys. Appreciate you all being here. Appreciate you all hanging out on the stream. I'll try not to film incorrectly next time. I don't know what happened. But we made it through, and it wasn't too weird. All right, guys. Peace out. Catch you guys next time. Appreciate all of you.